What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Terror Table for episode 102. I'm one of your hosts, Mitch, and alongside me, as always, is...
I'm Buzi.
And today we will be discussing M. Night Shyamalan's latest film, Glass. So we'll be getting to that in our main feature. As you have probably already noticed, that I did not introduce Diego yet, because Diego is supposed to be here today, but he has strep throat. So baby boy's sick and he's at home.
Prayers for Diego.
Yeah, and it's a big bummer because he legitimately has wanted to be here for the last couple, especially this one, because if you can recall, Split was his number one of the year last year. We did a pretty amazing
It wasn't. It was the year before.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Okay.
The year that it came out. Either way, Diego couldn't be here today, so we found that out about 4 hours ago. And at the very last minute, we were just like, who can we get on to help us out with this episode? So we managed to get a hold of one of our favorite guests that we've had so far. So welcoming back third time guest. Welcome back, Mike Fisher.
I feel like Tom Brady last night. This is like fucking dropping the bomb. Thanks for having me, guys. So I had a meeting tonight. But when you texted, I was like, I got to move this shit around because I just love doing it. I was so excited. Plus, I have some pretty strong feelings about Glass. Good. So I'm excited to get to that main feature, yeah.
Such a double whammy of interest here.
Well, I assume, because, that's, like, honestly, I don't know anyone else really who went to it this weekend, like, in the city.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like a 95%, unless I'm sick or something else is happening, I'm at the movies.
Yeah, well, that, and it's especially, like, I can assume that you were an unbreakable fan of some sort, so we'll get to that. I do know that this is going to be a beefy main feature, so for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time for some reason, we are going to have a spoiler-free review, and then we'll give you a spoiler warning, and then we're going to go all out and fully dissect this son of a bitch of a movie. So, but until then, we're going to get caught up on some things. I have some announcements to make that I'll get out of the way before we get started catching up with Mike and everything and talking about what we've been seeing and what we've been doing. First thing, I want to... how do I go about this? We're going to be adding a new segment to the Terror Table over the next year.
Because we don't have long enough episodes already.
Exactly, but this is going to be separate episodes. So if you listen to the last episode in which we had Courtney on, we talked about books quite a bit, and we were talking about how Buzi and I want to read one book a month for the rest of the year. So we're going to try and start reading again because we both fallen away.
Which seems like a very manageable, like 12 seems like a manageable number for.
It's an awesome idea.
Yeah,
it's an awesome idea,
and it's like the only time that we really talk about books on the show, which was always a plan to be talking about horror books and everything from the very beginning. But like when I started this podcast is when I pretty much stopped reading. I had trouble reading because I was like, in my new line of work, I couldn't read at work anymore. I used to read at work a lot. But either way, we are going to be doing separate episodes on books. So we're going to be doing book club once a month, and it's going to be myself, Buzi, my sister Tara, and Courtney. The four of us are going to come on, and it's not going to be like a one book each month. We're each going to choose our own book. We're each reading whatever we want. So each episode, we're going to have 4 different books that we're going to shine light on. We'll talk about them and we'll give you like a heads up. So if anyone wants to read, obviously people aren't going to be able to read 4 books in a month, but we're going to do it more so just like a normal episode and maybe offer up recommendations rather than in-depth dissections of books because...
Yeah, I can't see them being like super long episodes.
No,
anyway, so.
I imagine they'll be about an hour long. But with that being said, I guess we can announce our very first episode. So do you want me to announce them all?
Sure.
Okay. So I will be reading a book called Kubrick Red, which is by Simon Roy, which you can we'll post a link about all these books on our Terror Table Facebook page. But that's the book that I'm going to be reading. Buzi, what book are you choosing?
It's The Most Dangerous Animal. I can't remember the author, but it's a guy who thinks that his dad was the Zodiac.
Was that the one where didn't they make a documentary about this one too?
Probably. Some of it's they kind of mention it even in the Zodiac movie, but it's just, I have about 20 pages left actually, and yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay, so obviously it's by Gary Stewart. Yeah, I just looked it up here. Okay, so that's the book Buzi's going to be reading, and Courtney is currently reading My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyenka Braithwaite is her name. Sorry, I know I'm terrible at pronouncing some names, but that's a tough name to pronounce. And Tara will be reading Shirley Jackson's classic, The Haunting of Hill House. So it's going to be on the
Has she
coattails.
seen the, you know what? I'll save that for the.
She has seen it, though.
Okay.
That's why she wants to read the novel.
That'll be cool to hear the differences, because I don't really know anybody that's read it so far.
Yeah.
Or at least that's talked about it.
Yeah, so we'll do that next. It'll probably be early February, so keep an eye out for that. We'll let you guys know. Other than that, we have also chosen we're going to go back to Terror Table roots. Like back in the day when we first started, we would do theme months or like a series of themed movies. And we'd each pick a movie that fits this category. And we have settled on our next theme is going to be creature features. So I'll say, how should we do this? Buzi, mine first? Or?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to announce Diego's as well because he's not here. But so this is for people like Bryson who want to know which movies we're going to be watching for the next 3 episodes, so you can have time to prepare for them. I have chosen Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, which is directed by Mick Garris. I've never seen it before, but I bought the $30 Scream Factory copy, so I hope I like it. Yeah, and I know
all in.
I know it's about vampire cats. So
oh right,
yeah,
I was trying to remember
Sleepwalkers. Yeah, so my pick was Sleepwalkers, and the following week, Buzi, what are we going to be doing? It's your pick.
What did I pick?
Splinter.
Okay, I picked Splinter from 2008.
Which is a movie that you talked about on our very first episode.
Did I actually?
I think so, yeah. Okay. You had just watched it, but I've never seen that one either, so I'm looking forward to that. So Splinter from 2008, and Diego chose Rawhead Rex, which
I've heard a lot about, but I've never seen it.
I've always wanted to see Rawhead Rex, so that's going to be awesome. But so those are going to be the next 3 episodes and a book club episode, so now you're all set. That's plenty of Terror Table to look forward to. Last but not least, sorry, this is such a mouthful, all of this at the very beginning.
Well, just quick question for you guys, real quick. When you decide on a movie that you haven't seen yet that's older, what's your go-to? Do you try to find the Blu-ray?
Oh yeah,
right away.
Yeah,
that's like your main.
Most of the time, I actually have one. I have it.
Right, or someone you know does.
Or or we'll Amazon it. Also, I've rented a lot of iTunes.
That's what I was wondering. Because I sort of like. I don't really have a moral obligation so much against downloading. I think it's mostly just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
A bit of not moral, but sort of like you can't keep downloading and expect the industry to keep making movies.
Exactly. Yeah.
Short-sighted. But I didn't know about renting because sometimes you just can't find what you're looking for and you don't want to spend $40 plus shipping on a Blu-ray.
Exactly.
But yeah, okay, so just kind of everything then.
I had the same problem actually recently when we were trying to get a hold of 3 Identical Strangers, the documentary, in which we watch it, but I rented it from the PlayStation Network.
Oh,
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, I didn't know that not until recently.
Yeah, and it's like right on the homepage. So it's like, and I'm like, oh man, there is literally everything here. Yeah. So it's like literally a video store again, and it's $4.99 for. I think you get it for 48 hours. So
yeah, sometimes I do the Cineplex store of all things, just because it's the same price as iTunes. Yeah, but you get them scene points. So not that I really go downtown that much anymore, but it's still worth it for certain movies. But yeah, anyway.
That's what Landmark's missing. They still need the points.
Man, they do.
The points. That's
all
they
still probably have like 5 or 6 free movies with the points. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so last thing to get out of the way quickly, though, is last night I was invited on to our friend and brother podcast at So Be It. We discussed... What the fuck was that band?
9 Inch Nails?
No. That comes up, but we're...
Pearl Jam? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, we actually talk about Pearl Jam a little bit. No, but their new format to the show is they have a book of 1001 albums that you need to listen to before you die. Each week they choose 2 albums out of there, and they basically just talk about them, dissect them, because they take the couple of weeks to listen to them. And a lot of these are classic albums. Lots of them are albums that they'd not heard of. So this week we talked about what the fuck, Flaming Groovies, the people who did Louie Louie.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we talked about Flaming Groovies and the self-titled debut album from Rage Against the Machine, which is huge for me. So, spoiler alert, I love that band and that album.
I was so stoked for you when you said that was one of them. I was like,
man.
Fuck, I want that one.
Yeah, and you know what sucks is Buzi's going to be on the next episode, and I got to choose the random numbers, and you got to good luck.
Okay. Oh, no.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was a ton of fun. I had such a good time with those guys. So go and listen to that episode and let me know what you think.
You know what hurts my soul? I still have cable because I'm that old, and I just like PVRing the shit out of everything instead of having to like download it. And there's a commercial for Subway that steals from Rage.
Really?
I'll have to get it for you guys, but it's like it does the whole like and I just can't. It's like who's making these commercials that you throw back that far? But also, what the fuck? It's about like a little sandwich that doesn't have anything. And every time I hear it, I just get so mad. Because it's just like, this is the legacy?
Yeah,
Fuckers,
no doubt.
Don't shit on the legacy.
Killing in the name.
No, it's, yeah.
That's hilarious. Fuck. Okay. All right. Well,
I have something, actually.
Okay.
Did you know we have an email?
do we have an email?
We have an email.
Should we get that out of the way real quick?
Yeah, I have it pulled up here, so I will read it. This one's from Alexis, and the title of it is Lists and More Lists. So this is a longer one, guys, so just bear with me, because I try and talk fast, but I run out of air.
That's what I've been doing.
Hey, I really enjoyed your guys' 100th episode, particularly revisiting your top 10 lists from the past couple years. It was fun to hear them again because I'm usually a couple years behind on horror movies. Since I don't watch movies super often, I'm always trying to catch up on everything that's on your lists. Currently, I've almost watched everything from 2016 now, and I'm still making my way through 2017 with a little 2018 sprinkled in there. So since I can never make a top 10 list for the previous years because I haven't seen enough current movies, it inspired me to make a couple lists from previous years. 2016, I'm going 1 to 10.
Okay.
So her top one was Train to Busan, Green Room, Hush, 10 Cloverfield Lane, Autopsy of Jane Doe, I'm Not a Serial Killer, Conjuring 2, Don't Breathe, The Invitation, and Southbound.
We had the exact same list except for different orders. And I had The Witch in there.
I'm Not a Serial Killer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that movie.
The only ones I haven't seen yet that were on the 2016 lists are Clown. Not sure if I will be able to get to that one thanks to my clownophobia. Greasy Strangler. Not sure if it's my type of movie. Sorry,
No.
Diego.
She
Fear
wouldn't.
Inc. on Netflix now, so I'll watch that soon. The Monster and The Pack. 2017, Get Out, Split, The Girl with All the Gifts, Creep 2, It, The Devil's Candy, Mayhem, The Babysitter, Better Watch Out, and It Comes at Night.
Such a good year.
Right?
Both of those years were so good.
Did The Babysitter make some lists?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you hate it?
No, I didn't mind it. I just was
loved
kind of
it.
surprised
Yeah.
because it's sort of like an 80s...
It's a Mick G movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
We
that's
have no right
interesting.
to be liking this.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed Gerald's Game and The Killing of a Sacred Deer. However, I don't think I'd ever rewatch them again. Killing of a Sacred Deer is hard to... I think that would be a hard rewatch.
Yeah.
There are still 10 movies from from your 2017 list that I haven't yet to see, but I'm really looking forward to. The Black Coat's Daughter, Mother, The Void, and My Friend Dahmer. Okay.
Oh, God. Watch A Black Coat's Daughter right away, Alexis,
Yes,
if you can.
I've actually been looking
Yeah.
for a Blu-ray copy.
She would
They're
really-
very hard
we
to
have
find.
it.
Really?
Yeah, I
They're
got it for Courtney for
it's fucking
Christmas.
expensive to find
Yeah.
that one. 2018, I haven't seen 10 horror movies from the past year yet, but I'm kind of glad because I think it would be really hard to put these in any order. I enjoyed all of these movies relatively, but was not particularly blown away by any particular. Mom and Dad, award for most fun movie to watch on the list. The Ritual, A Quiet Place, Annihilation, Hereditary, Revenge, Cam, and Cargo. I forgot about Cargo.
Yeah, and it came up on a bunch of lists.
Did it
Yeah,
really?
you really didn't like it. I still haven't seen it. Did you see
I haven't-
Cargo?
no, I haven't
Martin
seen it.
Freeman?
It's a
on
weird
Netflix.
movie.
Oh, right. It's on Netflix. No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's a weird movie for him to be in. You guys have me really excited to watch Mandy, Halloween, Anna the Apocalypse, Pyewacket, Apostle, Overlord, House that Jack Built, and Upgrade.
She's going to like all of those except for the house that Jack built.
Probably. P.S. Boozy, I'll watch the open house just for you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Just wanted to say thank you for igniting my love for horror movies and introducing me to some of the best works of film I've ever seen. Also, thank you for providing me with a never-ending movie list. It's the list that never shrink. Love, Alexis. So thank you, Alexis.
All the way from Japan.
All the way from Japan.
Oh, sweet.
And I appreciate actually hearing other people's lists.
I love when people
yeah.
give feedback. That's
Yeah.
that's the shit when they do that. So really quick, I have to say about horror movies, I know this is probably generalizing, but like what I love about them is it's sort of like a palate cleanser because
Yeah.
every other genre is the same shit over and over and over again. I think horror is one of the genres that's still reinventing itself and always bringing something fresh.
So do,
That's
do
the
you
only
mean,
one.
Sorry, not to cut you off. Do you mean in terms of like trends, where like all comedies are kind of like this for a short period of time, and then
Yeah.
all action movies are kind of in this vein?
And look at how drastically different Hereditary and Mom and Dad is.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
It's still sort of like they're allowed to do it for some reason. I don't know if it's because the stakes aren't as high. Like it's on a Marvel pressure where you need to make $800 million.
Exactly, yeah.
But I love it because you get some real content instead of like another Jurassic World or whatever. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have picked that. I know you like
No. I like that one. Have you seen Fallen Kingdom?
Yeah.
He's turned on Fallen Kingdom now.
I turned on it so hard. I
You
heel
should-
turned on.
As you should.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I forced myself to like it at the start because I'm a Jurassic Park
I
fan till
know.
the death, and
I
then
know.
after I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
That's why, like, normally I'm all like, yeah, no, like, everyone likes different things. Have your own
Right.
opinion. But then my sister's like, I really like Fallen Kingdom. I was like, that's a fucking wrong opinion.
There's certain ones, man, it crosses that threshold into like something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
Someone hurt you that you like, you know. But often it's someone that goes. I don't know if your sister goes to lots of movies, but for me, often it's someone that goes to like 2 a year.
That's exactly, and that's what she said, and that's why I get it, because she's got kids and she doesn't get to go out all the time. So she's like, "Yeah, it was fun for me."
Exactly.
I'm like, she gets 2 movies a year, and it's mom vision.
Exactly.
It's that, or it's us who's researched the shit out of every part. The executive producer, like everything that to do with it, and then we're like, "What the hell is this?" And
like she was petrified by the nun, and that was like. To
really?
me, like
And
that
that's
was
kind
just,
of a joke. It's almost like a punchline now.
Yeah, I want to watch it again because I know a lot of people really like that too. You still haven't seen it.
I still haven't seen it. I want to.
That not only scared me in the 5-minute VR that I did.
Oh
Because,
yeah,
holy
I think you were
shit.
telling me about that.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it's I have to remind myself that not everybody watches like 8,000 movies a year.
Oh,
it
I
helps a
know.
lot.
Totally.
Yeah. Sorry to distract.
I love that casual conversation though you have with people who I guess you could call filthy casuals when they don't really see that much, and they're like, did you see this? I really liked it. And then you have to go as someone who's seen a lot who can't contain your, you know what I mean? Like, this fucking hated this.
I have to contain it all the time, which really sucks. Like, there's a few people I go with that I can actually talk about it, but mostly they're like, "Oh, Aquaman is really good." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool." Like, what am I gonna say? Because like,
it made a lot of money.
Yeah. You try to find the positive, but and people get really invested, so you can't really shit on
I know
them,
you
but,
never want to shit on something that someone loves.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
But yeah,
I had that happen actually with Solo, where people are like, "Oh, you saw Solo? Like, how was it?" And like, I didn't like Solo, so I tried to put that positive spin on it.
Right.
Like, well, it's Star Wars,
exactly. Yeah,
better than The Last Jedi.
arguably.
I like it better than The Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that was a low bar for me. So
Yeah.
okay,
That was the last time that you came on. That was The Last Jedi.
it was, and that was like that's been a
One of
theme
our
in
most
my
popular
life for,
episodes.
Well, and talk about like something that you want to like and try to like. I fought with myself for like 3 weeks to be like, I'm missing something. What did, because I want to love it so much. If we have time towards the end, I got to tell you guys about a story Kevin Smith told last night.
You need to tell her right now.
Okay, so it's real quick.
We got
actually.
time.
Yeah.
So episode 9's filming, and JJ reaches out to Kev and says, "You need to come and see what we're doing if you have time." If I have time, sure, I'll come to like. Now, did you watch the original Office, you guys?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
okay, so this is the funniest part to me is where they're filming in Pine, whatever the studios. I can't remember the name of it. It's outside London and closer to the airport, and it's near. So his agent is like figuring out where they can stay, and she gave him all these options, and he's like, "Oh, is that like Slough from The Office?" And she's like, "Yeah, but it's a shithole." He's like, "Oh, I want to stay there. I want to stay where David Brent lived." And they're like, "Are you sure? Like, check out Google Maps. This is not a good neighborhood." He's like, "No, I want to stay in Slough." So that was pretty funny. But then he goes on set, and he's like trying to be spoiler free, of course, because they would destroy him.
Yeah.
But he said he was watching on the monitor, and it was a real closed, tight set with like all the actors in one scene, and everybody was there, so he couldn't even get close. But he was watching the monitor, and then something happens that he says, it's just like I am your father level.
Really?
It's something that we all should have seen the entire time, but you just can't believe you didn't see it. So he just yells, "Fuck!" And then see, cut. And here JJ says, "Who's yelling profanity?" And then Oscar Isaac goes, "That was Kevin Smith." He's like, "Kev," he's like, "You should have told me, man. I can't. My mind is blown." So that made me so excited because it's just like, what? Unless he's building it up just to be like,
Well, and that's the thing. Kevin Smith has a tendency to do that. He's
does.
very positive, which is good.
Yeah, it's
but-
like the guy cries over like an Aquaman trailer.
Oh,
like,
I know.
He's all in, but
Okay, let's set the scene here. Is what's the pilot's name from the new ones?
Poe Dameron.
Poe,
Oscar,
yeah.
Oscar
So
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. Everybody's standing around. Poe Dameron has his pants down, and everyone goes, "He's uncircumcised."
Yeah.
And then Kevin Smith is yelling, "Fuck!"
that's probably what it was.
Got that uncircumcised rage.
But all my mind kept going is like, what could it possibly be that we wouldn't have caught, or someone hasn't theorized
I know.
already? You know?
It's going to be something with Leia. Or no, it's going to be something with Hamill, for sure.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said it was the character. He said it was a career defining performance from a character that we've known for years. And I was like, obviously can't be Carrie.
No, it's Mark Hamill.
It has to be.
It's
It has to
Chewie.
be.
It's
And-
fucking
It's
Chewie.
Chewie.
They're
They're
gonna
gonna-
unzip the back, and there'll be a different
Yeah.
person in there,
Little like operating gadgets and shit.
Oh my God.
So
like Men in Black.
yeah. Like, so who does that come out this Christmas?
Yeah. So when that happens, you're coming back on, and we'll do another. We'll do a Star Wars.
That was
episode.
one of my favorite episodes.
Because I would either have like survived and loved it, or shot myself in the mouth.
I know. That's I'm pretty confident I'm gonna love it because I loved what JJ did with Force Awakens.
Now that he's back in the
well, as long as there's porgs, we'll be good.
We can talk about this for fucking hours. Like,
sorry, I just had to tell that.
We're known to be the horror and Star Wars podcast, so it's okay. But yeah, with all that being said, like, let's get back to basics here. So we did not plan on having you on, but thank you so much for coming on such short notice. This is awesome. Boozy and I have I don't know if you've listened yet, but our 100th episode, we even said like in front of Diego, I was like, sorry to say this in front of you, but one of my favorite episodes are the ones that you're not here, because it was like ones where you came on.
You got to watch your back, Diego. Like, man, I walk down the street and people are like, "Hey, aren't you that guy that was on?"
Hey, it's Mike from the Terror Table.
It's Mike from the Terror Table. I was like, no, I think you're talking Diego, and they're like, no.
No, Mike.
You like Star Wars, right? You're the Star Wars guy. You're the Star Wars shithead that hated episode 8.
Yeah. Mike's technically here just as much as Diego is.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding, Diego. You're irreplaceable. I just love coming on, so I'm aiming for your job.
Yeah. No, and that sucks. Yeah, Diego's. I'm really. I'm so curious to hear what he thinks about Glass, because he's so passionate about.
And he
Split.
disappeared like a shot. That's
what he does.
Okay, because I was just gonna ask him real quick what he thought afterwards, but he was gone. Yeah.
No. He's probably Naruto running.
I was gonna say he disappeared in the night like Jack the Ripper.
I didn't leave him. I didn't see him leave. Like,
throws a smoke bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you've been on last time, which was the episode 8 of the Star Wars episode, what's been going on in the horror world for you? Like, did you catch some horror movies this year?
I did, but like honestly, I'm caught in this weird cycle of like, I want to listen to the podcast so I know what to watch, but I don't always have the time. So then I sort of in this weird loop of like not watching because I don't want to watch shit.
Yeah.
But I have caught a few recently. Most recently, I watched Hereditary, which honestly, I don't know what's going to happen here. You guys are both looking at me like, you fucker, you better say that. I loved a lot of it, but I think it was one of those cases where it was built up so much, where if you don't watch it right away and everyone talks about how mind-blowing it is and stuff, I expected like more. Only because of that, but it was like
because of the hype.
Yeah, and that I expected that little creepy girl to be in there more.
We'll try and do it without spoilers. So I mean,
sorry.
Proceed with caution.
Okay,
that's fine.
Oh, yeah, no, thanks. I'm glad you reminded me. What else? I still haven't seen Bioacid of all things.
There's a good chance you'll like that one.
I'm pretty sure. So. I like his stuff. Like I like his sensibility. I loved The Haunting of Hill House. That was one of my favorite things in years because it actually explored like after.
Yeah.
You know, like that's really rare to see something where how fucked up you are after, if you ever like survived.
That was my favorite thing of the whole year.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I loved that show.
That makes me happy because I thought it was sort of like horror light. Because
it is light. It's light on the horror, but it's like when the horror's there, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
But it I know it's such a cop out to do the whole like the family drama first, but it really is like the drama between those characters. There's some of the best I've seen in film.
Totally, and it shot so well. Like the scenes in the funeral home where they're like,
good God, that episode 6.
Yeah, yeah, like it just stuck with me so hard.
Oh God, I love that show.
I'm trying to think of what else came out last year, but jeez, I'd have to go back and
that's fine. We'll put you on the spot.
But I'm going to look at my list here.
Okay, yeah, that's.
Well, you guys will carry on, but I'll come back.
Okay, then let's. Do you want to go into what we've been seeing?
Sure.
Get that out of the way first. So, do you want to go first?
Sure. Mine's pretty quick. Because I can only half talk about it, is I started rewatching the new Halloween because that came out. I immediately ran to the thing. And I have kind of a little quip about this, is there was so much talk about Best Buy having their own steelbook.
They didn't have it here.
Well, that's the thing is, I'll go on with this. So they had their own special steelbook, and it was limited edition only through Best Buy. Mm-hmm. So I ran to the store after work with a raging boner to buy this. And I had it like on my phone, like the picture and everything. And I'm looking around, and they only have the DVD and the Blu-ray one. So I take the Blu-ray up to the front, and I'm like, "Where's the Steelbook one?" And I show them the picture or whatever. And I even had like a SKU number. So I gave them the SKU number. They're like, "Oh no, that's an American one." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Oh, they don't like. There's no Canadian one." I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean? You have limited rights to have this fucking Steelbook, and half of North America doesn't get it?"
Yeah,
that's it was really frustrating. So I started watching Halloween, but I ended up falling asleep. That's not Halloween's fault.
No.
I was just very tired that day. I think I worked a 12-hour shift, and I just wanted something to like fall asleep. And I just rewatching it even as soon as it cuts to the cold opening, and then all of a sudden you have the Halloween come up on there and the pumpkin. Like I remembered how excited I was going to watch it. Other than that, I rewatched Zodiac for the first time in a while because I'm reading the book and then watching that, and really faithful adaptation, like to the point where David Fincher actually got like certain areas where character or like real people had been shot when he shot the 2 on Lover's Lane. That they actually had like they had made sure to show where these people are getting shot, which lines up with the actual file. It's a really long movie, but really enjoyable.
It's his best movie. I think it's his best movie.
It's one of his best movies, and also as much as I don't like Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, he's so good in that movie.
He is really good.
I love Robert.
That's what I'll say is that he was really fantastic in the movie, and
It's so funny.
And that's coming from someone who doesn't really like him.
And I love that you said that right in front of the biggest Robert Downey Jr. fan I know.
My heart's just like beating so fast. First of all, Steelbooks, it's bullshit. What they do is, have you seen the resale of those things?
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of Steelbooks for
Right.
and that. Yeah,
I've just started. I think I have like 5 now.
Employees buy them before
Yeah.
they hit the shelf, and then they resell them for. It's what pisses me off that they don't actually make them get released, because then you could line up and actually have it be a thing. Like I borrowed, I forget what it was from a friend, and he brought it to the movies, and I forgot it there. I was like, I'll just buy him another copy, and it was like $300
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, so that's how I discovered it. It was like, why are these $300? And it's just the collectability because they make so few of them. But it's bullshit. But if you just want them to have them as a fan, it's really annoying.
It is. Yeah, and that's actually how, because Best Buy has some lines that are exclusively only in the States, which sucks because that was, I got Courtney that Hocus Pocus book. Or it's like the Book of the Dead from Hocus Pocus, but a steel book. And they did. I wanted to get it for so bad from our Best Buy, but they don't have it in Canada. So our friend Bryson from the Utah, like a listener, bought it and sent it over
Bryson's
here.
not from here.
No, he's from Utah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bryson. I just know you from Twitter, but I just assumed you were like a local guy.
No,
okay.
yeah, he's from Utah.
And that's so frustrating, though, is that if it's something you really want, and you're like, this cool steelbook, you got this cool art, there's all this extra footage and all this stuff, and then they go, sorry, it's not available in Canada. Why not? I can understand if it's not available in some parts of Europe. I can understand
a different
that.
region, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Sorry, that was
So you haven't seen Halloween yet still?
Yeah,
you
I
did
have.
have it.
I
Okay.
did say in theaters. This is my first time viewing it at home, and I feel like it's.
Gotcha. Sorry,
I like to
course.
try, especially things that I really like. I like to try and watch them again at home when I don't have the distraction of other people around me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So my turn?
Yep.
Okay, I'll get it out of the way. I bought Halloween on day one as well. And I watched it again. So that was my third time watching it. It was the only movie I saw twice in theaters this year, which very rarely happens for me anymore. But I put this 2 episodes ago. This was my number 10 on my top 10s. And I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I still like this movie. It's fine, but this might be the most I've ever tried liking a movie, and I think it's since The Last Jedi. Like it's my last Jedi this year because it made my, and I realized it made my top 10 out of sheer proxy of it being a Halloween movie, and I was like, and I still like it. Like it's fine. But watching it again with Courtney, when she still loves it, I can't see myself watching it for a very long time. I just wish it made me like I think I like H2O more now because it's very similar, but I think I like H2O. I wish I could get H2O, but with this Michael. Because there's so many things about the new Halloween that I fucking love, and then there's things that I can't stand, but like, God, I love Michael in this one. Like, the new Michael in Halloween is my favorite part. The score is fucking unbelievable. By the way, I watched all of the special features, and all of them are worth checking out. It's only about 24 minutes, 25 minutes of special features, but they're really good.
I haven't watched the deleted scenes yet. I'm really excited.
I haven't watched the deleted scenes. That's the only thing that I haven't watched. But I watched, there's like the making of the music, and it's like John Carpenter with Cody Carpenter, his son, and it's their friend. And just like being in the studio with them, watching them come up with like the new sounds of Halloween, because the score is my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I loved it.
I've listened to that record so many. Like
It's
out of all the
amazing.
records I own, I've listened to it consistently at least once a week.
Yeah, it's so good. But I just think that there's so many things that I just really can't fucking stand. And like the whole Dr. Sartain thing, I can't get over it. I hate
fair.
it. I fucking hate that plot point. And like, I get that's the thing, is that the other reason why I put it on my top 10 at number 10, because I was like, I still got a new Halloween movie and it's a good one. But I'm like, it just, the whole idea of it, it's such a missed opportunity for me. I'm always going to watch it again and think like, fuck, I just want to see Laurie Strode run a train on Michael for a little while. That's all I want, because I'm like, it frustrates me so much.
You can find that on Pornhub.
Yeah.
That was my issue too with it, is that after all these years, her character is supposed to be like hardened and she has no time to dye her hair and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
Just fine. I'm not saying she should be prettier at all, but it's like, no, after all these years, and I know you have to have the movie still, but for him to be in the closet and for her to walk towards it.
I know. A fucking closet.
Yeah, it's like we've been through this,
Yeah,
Lori. I don't know why the
exactly.
fuck you're, and then to like not just shoot it. You know what I mean?
know.
And so it's like my expectations were so high for it, and I wanted to love it too, but I just walked out going like, it's like a pale retread of what we've seen before.
I know that's my biggest beef with it is that it's for years we heard we're not going to make another Halloween movie unless it's perfect, unless we have the perfect story. I'm like, okay, so your story is H2O that came out 20 years ago, and then doing like the whole like they take so many things from Halloween 2 that they're apparently too good for. Like that's the other thing that bothers me. But overall, I just want to say, it's dropped a little bit in my books. I still like it, but I'm like, this is the most I've ever tried to like a movie. Like,
so what changed? You probably know more behind the scenes, like in terms of releasing it. Like, was there anything behind the scenes that made them just sort of like
the ending was different before?
So,
they did it. They did. It didn't go over well with test screenings, so they reshot the ending. And the ending was like a knife fight between Michael and Laurie, which sounds awesome to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I kind of would like to see, rather than you watch her in target practice for however many minutes of the movie, and then she can't shoot the gun when he's in the house. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And like, I don't know. There's things I love about it, but there's things that just I'm like, I'm a spoiled brat, basically. Like, I'm a spoiled Halloween brat. Like, I don't know. I think
I don't, but yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, out of everyone here, obviously, I'm the one who liked it the most. And it's kind of got to a point where I've just realized, it's like, yeah, there's never going to be another Halloween.
Right.
We already had Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything they can do with that character that would make us go like, this is perfect, this is what we want. I don't think there is any way.
I think the only improvement would be if it was played by Robert Downey Jr. I think
exactly,
that's really the only.
He was like twirling his fingers, and
he had a
so he would have half the mask, so his goatee could show,
and the yellow sunglasses.
Yeah.
Have to be, yeah.
Oh my god. I don't know. My main thing that I would change is to have him show Laurie kind of come back a little bit, and not like, because I get you need to make her struggle a little bit, but if she's had 40 years to do this, like I was expecting them to make like Don't Breathe, but if how cool would it have been if Michael would have went into Stalker and that house was like a death trap? Like, there's already one trap in it that we know about. Imagine if every room was something crazy like that.
Why wouldn't she just lock it all? Like, he gets into a room and she fucking locks it down.
Yeah,
like she had the doors locked, but only after. I
would say he's gonna hide behind a mannequin.
Okay, here's what they're gonna. In another 40 years, we're gonna have a mega anniversary of Halloween. By that point, we'll have enough genetic technology. We're gonna bring Donald Pleasance back from the dead and put him in the movie. So he's going to be this reanimated corpse, and he's going to go like, why did you bring me back?
Right. And this will be like a whole new twist on it. I think that's the blessing and the curse of these franchises, is that you love them so much that you want something to be innovative. They're sort of beholden to their own legacy, which keeps them doing the same thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, now that we've had the retreads of, in the last, let's say, like decade, is we've had another
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, kind of Texas Chainsaw, like the 3D or whatever.
Yeah.
So we've had something in the vein of all of those, and they've all not done great. Like, Halloween obviously did the best out of those. And that's the thing, is I don't think we can do it. It's not. I don't think it's possible, honestly.
Yeah, it's tough to. It's tough to make to make Michael scary still. It'd be tough to do.
And it almost gets so ridiculous now when they run across the entire lawn and then he's there. Like, it just doesn't work the same way that it did originally. But also, it's harder and harder for people to find financing to come up with something like a new Michael, a new Jason, because people just won't pay for it unless it's a built-in franchise, right?
Exactly.
So it gets really tricky in that way, but
yeah. Okay, so moving on from that, I just want to follow up with last episode. I talked about the Netflix show You. We finished it. Have you watched it yet?
I did.
Did you like it?
I'm torn because, it was okay.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised by how much I liked it, and like I liked the ending as well. I didn't like the very, very end. I'm not going to spoil anything.
We got to talk afterwards about what you think happened there. But it's like if Dexter fucked Gossip Girl.
Yeah,
sort of.
That's what everyone's.
Which makes it like interesting, right? I said if Dexter had Tinder, but everyone's like, no, Mike. Gossip Girl, which I haven't seen. So,
Yeah,
so,
so I'm like,
now
okay,
that I know
yeah.
about it, it's like, oh, that makes way more sense. But
I think it's like Dexter and American Psycho a little bit. Like,
yeah, for sure. I got to talk to Courtney or maybe some actual women about this, but I found Beck really unbelievable. But
we all hate her.
yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
So even Courtney,
Yeah.
okay, because people are like, no, that's women, and I was like, well, no wonder I can't like
Yeah, exactly.
hold one down because I'm just anyway.
Yeah, no. If that's just if that's women saying that's women, that's a bummer because she's a really shitty fucking person.
That's what she flips on a dime and she's like,
she's just. I get she's living her best. She's being her best self. But it's like if that means like I'm not going to feel sympathetic for someone who's constantly fucking around.
Yeah,
I don't know. Either way, I finished it and I liked it. So if you're still on the fence, I recommend giving it a shot.
yeah, for sure.
I got two more things, and one of them I'm going to spend a decent amount of time on. So I'm going to get the other one out of the way. I caved and I bought the Scream Factory edition of Urban Legend, which is it's an ongoing joke at this point with it's like an ongoing bit that everyone thinks I fucking hate Urban Legend just because I don't love it as much as Buzi.
Or Courtney.
Or Courtney, yeah. And so basically I got duped into buying this thing because I found out that there's like 2 hours of bonus features on here, and there's tons of interviews
cover.
with and the cover's beautiful. I love the new artwork. I do like this movie. As far as Scream ripoffs go, it's one of the better ones. Mm-hmm. It is just a stupid movie, though. Like, it's. Do you remember? Have you seen?
Oh,
of course, you've seen Urban Legend.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
but it's like, it's the twist that I have an issue with. But at the same time, it's a slasher movie. Like, it's a silly slasher movie.
It is. Yeah.
But I think so that's stupid if I'm complaining about a twist in a silly slasher teen movie like this. But I don't know. I just think there's so many solid things about it. There's some like the opening scene is so good with Brad Dourif at the gas station. I think it's one of the best like 90s opening shots.
The reason I loved it is because for like the next month afterwards, I was just thinking about all the ways I could die.
Yeah.
So you're like, that thing's gonna roll off that truck, and I'm gonna like. So it made me real paranoid for.
Are you thinking Final Destination?
Oh wait a minute! Wait! Oh shit!
Yeah, you're thinking
wait a minute! Wait, I am. I totally am.
Yeah.
So in an instant, Mike's horror cred.
No. Final Destination. Urban Legend.
I was confusing Devon Sawa with Brad Dourif.
Yes.
Sorry, Urban Legends.
Brad Dourif is
oh my
Chucky.
God. So I was wondering what you're talking about with the twist. I was like, what is Mitch talking about?
Urban Legends with Jared Leto. What's his name? Rebecca Gayheart. And
oh my God, of course.
Joshua Jackson.
Yeah,
from,
you guys gotta edit the shit out of this.
No, I'll pull up.
No,
you will remember this.
Of course I do. No, I just was in my head went to. Yeah, of course it is totally a Scream ripoff. Yeah, I was like, what is he talking about? I got you now.
Yeah,
okay,
no, and
we're back on track.
Yeah, so it's like obviously similar titles of Final Destination. So no sweat there.
I don't. Yeah.
But so I was watching like there's this two hours worth of documentary footage on this thing, and I watched all of it. And I'm like, I love knowing some of my favorite like special features are on. I'm not saying that Urban Legend's a bad movie, but some of my favorite special features are on movies that are bad. Like or like ones that's like, how did this get made, or like what was going on behind the scenes with this movie? Because it's like Urban Legend is a pretty crazy movie for where it was in history. Like I wanted to know more about that. Obviously, it was just the studio being like, oh, Scream was a hit. Let's do that. So that's
you can come up with some really cool results of that happening where it's like half-baked shitty movies, but they kind of work. Sometimes I'd rather see a shitty movie and see how it was made versus like a 75 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, also
it's more interesting to me.
Also, some of that is like a lot of times there are scripts lying around for these kind of movies, and then it gets sparked because another one comes out that does so well.
Yeah.
So sometimes these movies actually predate other ones,
Right.
and it just ends up being like, well, this is kind of like that thing. I'm
Right.
not saying particularly that Urban Legend is, but that has happened before. And then people go, oh, it's just a ripoff of this, and you're like, oh no, that script's been around way longer.
They just saw it as bankable.
Exactly.
Right.
So here's what's so fucking cool about Urban Legend special features, though. Jamie Blanks is an Australian director, and he's the director of Urban Legend and Valentine
and
with
Storm
Denise
Warning.
Richards, Storm Warning, and
Oh my God.
Long Weekend. But yeah, but the thing is, in these special features, there's so much footage of his like old home movies. Of like he's been making slasher movies with his brothers and his friends since they were in elementary school. So like there's footage of like little homemade cameras, like they just look like, you know, when you and your friends had
Right.
cameras when you were a kid.
So it's like how M. Night does that, how he includes
Yeah,
footage
it's
of
exactly
his-
it's like
okay.
that. But like and all this guy Jamie Blanks just loves slasher movies. So like, and he clearly loved Scream and everything. But what happened was there was a script going around. He got an agent, and the agent passed him along the script to I Know What You Did Last Summer. And he's like, I need to fucking make this movie. Like, he was obsessed with it. He's like, this is amazing. This is what I want to do. So before he even got the job or even got an offer to do the job, he got his friends together in Australia and shot a trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Really?
And he used that to try and get the job. And at that point, they had already cast their director and everything, but they were like, this is, like, honestly, they even showed some parts of the trailer, and he's like, some of his trailer, and that's the same trailer that's in the actual movie. Like, so they ended up taking a lot of influence from him. So he didn't get the job, but they're like, okay, so if we can't give him I Know What You Did Last Summer, let's let him do, like, this is urban legend. Here's another one that came across the table.
Right.
So they're just like, yeah, let's do that. So technically, Urban Legend's a ripoff of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Which is,
a ripoff of Scream. But
that's awesome though, man, because if you can make money doing what you love like that, and like that's some balls to make the trailer and try to get, that's a lot of work.
Oh yeah,
for something that you're not guaranteed.
Exactly, and that's what's so cool. That's what
it's
it
nice
makes him so
genuine touch.
It makes him so
man.
It makes him so likable, knowing that he'd go to those lengths to get this done.
Yeah, and that's what I really crave nowadays, is that genuine aspect, because it's missing from 90% of movies that come out.
Yeah. So, and that's yeah, so with all that being said too, like there's so many there's pretty much everyone who is in this movie makes an appearance in the special features, which is really rare, because it's like a lot of the times actors want to like leave their movies, like of course Jared Leto's not in this thing because he's way bigger now or whatever.
Right.
But Rebecca Gayheart is in this a whole bunch, and she plays a crew. You know who that is, hey?
Yeah, what happened to her?
She fucking murdered somebody. Like, do you remember? Do you remember that?
No.
You didn't know about that either.
What?
Hey? Yeah,
was it vehicular homicide?
Yes, it was.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Oh my god.
There was no intent. Unless she saw them on the road and was like, I'm gonna fucking run that motherfucker
I know what you did last summer, bitch. And then, do you know who I am?
I'm gonna read this is like straight from IMDb, but I'm gonna read it here anyways. I think it's from IMDb or Wikipedia, but on June 13th, 2001, while driving a vehicle, Gayheart hit 9-year-old George Cruz Jr. as he walked across the street in Los Angeles. He died the following day from his injuries on November 27th, 2001. Gayheart pleaded no contest to vehicular manslaughter. She was sentenced to 3 years of probation, a 1-year suspension of her license, and a $2,000 fine, and 750 hours of community service. The parents of the boy filed a wrongful death lawsuit, which was settled out of court. So she got probation and community service and a $2,000 fine for killing a 9-year-old.
Wow.
Well, obviously she didn't intend to.
What,
Man,
was she drunk, or does it say?
Yeah, I don't think she was.
Probably was throwing a frisbee across the thing.
I don't know.
Man,
Either way,
you can't come back from killing a 9-year-old.
Oh no, exactly. And like, imagine living the rest of your life with that. Like,
No.
fuck. And like, I know I sound like a dick doing this, but fuck, she aged horribly. Like,
Oh, did she? She was one of those.
Well,
yeah.
the thing is, how
Well, yeah, she killed a 9-year-old.
exactly. You can tell
How
that
do you age gracefully then?
she has been chain smoking ever since.
That's what I was gonna say. You're guaranteed like chain smoking, drugs, whatever, because you have to, like, you'd never be.
Make it a porn video. She did I didn't know that she had a sex
no.
tape. Or it's like it's a pre-sex tape. It's
Yeah,
not,
I didn't know that.
well,
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, no, and it's
We're gonna have to cut this short.
Gotta go, guys. Really? That's crazy.
it cuts off right before the action happens.
So,
Oh.
okay.
But it's her husband of the time.
I know that one. It's called Mike's Adolescence.
What?
It cuts off right. The actions of what's happened. So what's did that end her? Like, did she act again?
Yeah, she acted a bunch.
Oh,
like,
she did? Oh.
Yeah, but that's what, like, the thing is, like, I just can't believe that they got her for this, like, because this was around that time yet, and I don't know, like, it's a big deal
crazy.
that they got Rebecca.
Okay, we're
Gayheart.
just looking at this as she killed a 9-year-old. When you go like, man, any of us in this room could accidentally kill a 9-year-old.
I was in front of St. Paul's.
The amount of kids that run across, sorry not to cut you off, the amount of kids that fucking run across, like, I've nearly hit kids, dogs, cats, just because they're just like, I'm coming out here.
I was one vehicle away from hitting a kid in front of St. Paul's when I used to deliver years ago. The kid ran out so fast and he got hit so hard that he spun around probably 3 or 4 times in the air. His shoes came off, and I'm pretty sure he died.
Holy
I don't know, because they came and got, like, he was right in front of the hospital.
Yeah.
But he just ran out between parked cars.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, and I was one back from that, and I just thought, holy shit. I just escaped, like, a life of... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, like, I don't mean to be making a joke out of the whole hitting a 9-year-old thing, but it is crazy how that literally could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, that happened to, Diego loves bringing it up. What's his name? Matthew Broderick. The same thing happened with him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he killed he killed a person, not a kid. But it was the same type of deal. I think he was a little drunk, though.
Oh, so yeah.
So the lesson here is don't drink and drive, and look both ways before crossing.
And check out the Urban Legend special features.
Right. That's the real
too.
lesson.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I watched the movie again. It's still fun. It's
I love
a fun
that.
movie.
So what year would that be? Like
98.
I love that era. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, so totally worth a watch, worth picking up if you're a fan of Urban Legend, or even if you're just a fan of special features, because that thing is fucking loaded with them.
Jam-packed, yeah.
Okay, one last thing, and this is a big one. Actually, let's get
Urban
this.
Legend wasn't the big
No,
one?
this is the big one. Okay. What do you guys know about... so I talked about this on So Be It last night, and I'm going to pretend like I didn't, and I'm just going to talk about it fresh here, because I know that not everyone...
So then I'm going to listen to the episode later and be like, this fucker.
Yeah, he talks about it twice. Yeah. What do you guys know about Norwegian black metal?
Well, where should I start?
You seem like a Norwegian black metal guy.
Not at all. But is that what that movie was on?
Lords
Friday?
of Chaos.
Yeah. Okay.
So I saw Lords of Chaos.
Is that about mayhem?
Yes.
Yeah, I know about this.
Do you know about Mayhem?
Yeah, about how the dude shot himself, and then they were taking pictures
yes.
to use for their bootleg.
So that's the other thing. Yeah, okay, so
I also sold part of his skull online recently, I found out.
Spoilers. And I did the same thing with So Be It. But here's the thing is...
It's like the 90s.
I know, and apparently... Okay, so here's the thing. Huge metal fan. Like, I played in a metal band for how many years? I didn't know the full story about Mayhem. I know, because do you know about Mayhem at all?
Not at all.
Okay, so I went into this movie fairly blind. Like, I knew some of it, but I'm going to shed some light on it right now. We'll talk about it a little bit, because apparently it's public knowledge for everyone except for me and you.
Yeah.
Because this movie, I'll tell you right now, I fucking loved this movie. Like, loved it.
Is it because Rory Culkin is in it?
I like Roy Culkin, but it's because it's a fucking incredible movie. And like, so I saw this, our friends at the Saskatoon Fantastic Film Festival, like John Allison and Scott Hamilton, and I don't know everyone else's name, so I'm not going to even attempt to, but the kind people who bring that festival here got a chance to put this one-time screening on of Lords of Chaos, which is a movie I've had my eye on for a while, and I'm like, that's awesome that we're getting this screening, because this is extremely my shit. Turns out it is extremely my shit. Like, I loved this movie, but it's directed by Jonas Åkerlund, who is a Swedish director. He directed the movie Spun. Have you seen Spun with Brittany Murphy, Mickey Rourke, Jason Schwartzman, Patrick Fugit? Mickey Rourke's a crystal meth dealer.
No.
It's a great movie. It's very, very good. But so he directed that movie. I think that was in 2001, 2002. He's also directed mainly music videos, and like the most prolific music videos that you can think of.
Yeah, because his name rings a bell.
Yeah. He's won awards for like Grammys and everything for his videos with Madonna. Like, he did like Madonna, he did Beyonce's Lemonade. Like, he's been doing like, he does every fucking huge music video. Jonas Åkerlund has done it. The other thing that he's known for is he was originally a drummer in the Swedish black metal band Bathory.
Oh, I know about Bathory.
Yeah, so he was the drummer of that band, who basically ran in the same circle as Mayhem. Like, they like, that's around Sweden and
Norway.
Norwegia. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm running out of breath.
I feel like I know more and I haven't even seen the movie.
Norwegia. No, it's yeah, okay, so anyways. Where am I getting at with this? Anyways, he knows what he's talking about. He was around this a little bit. Yeah. He had moved to, obviously at the time where all this stuff started happening, he had moved to Hollywood, and he was like working on becoming a film director of sorts.
Well, that shit got really violent.
Okay.
Like that whole thing got
so it's the
way
church, church burnings, there's murders. Yeah,
there's murder, yeah.
These are the guys who they invented Norwegian black metal, and black metal in general, which is just like a genre of music of just like, let's see how horrible we can make this music sound. But it's mainly about their image. Like, the whole thing is always about their image.
I can't even defend that music.
No,
like,
it's
it's
fucking
shit
awful.
to me too.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's more of like a social, not experiment, but like a...
It's kind of like
edgy
early
kids.
shock rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just straight garbage. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, just getting a sip of water here. But okay, so, and here's the thing, is like the whole movie, it plays out like Goodfellas, but about black metal, and it's all got hints of horror, but it's also fucking hilarious. Like, it is so funny, and it's one of the
intentionally funny.
Okay, I still don't know how to talk about this movie because I just want everyone to see it, and I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
But at the same time, I think most people already know about what's happened. But it's just, I drew a lot of comparisons to the movie Alpha Dog. Like, I really like the movie Alpha Dog.
I fucking love Alpha Dog.
Okay, so it's like Alpha Dog, but of black metal. Because
I'm sold.
Yeah, Buzi.
man.
After I was like, I so badly wish you would have came to this because I would have loved to know what you thought
Also,
of it.
documentaries, it bugs me when people go like, I already know what happens. With documentaries, it's all in how it's told.
Oh, totally. And this isn't a documentary.
Oh, it's not.
No,
it's like,
Rory
really?
Like a
Culkin.
biopic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kinda
Rory Culkin is
Wow,
the
I
main.
really don't know about it. I just assumed it was like, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
no, and it's so that's
I
the
wonder why Rory was in there. It's like, is he like a big fan? Like, what's his?
Yeah.
He does the voiceovers.
no, it's
Oh, okay.
it's hilarious.
Well,
it's dark. It's grim. It's upsetting. But I know that black metal fans are not enjoying it. They're not not too happy with it. And metal fans,
They're
in general,
very guarded with their because they take themselves very seriously.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like a whole like almost religion to them.
It
like
is.
an anti-religion religion.
Yeah.
Right.
So like all the church burnings and stuff like that's not just them like kids fucking around kind of thing. Like they're 100% all about.
Well,
that.
they
Like,
don't think that that's what it is, but in reality, that
Yeah.
is what it was. Like
So,
they
like,
were
on a level of like 0 to Eminem fans in 1999, like, what level of commitment are they to like that lifestyle of like white kids becoming rappers? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
is that a bar? Sorry, I'm just.
No, I don't
was
know.
that a bar?
It was
Like,
for me back in the day because it was all of a sudden like friends I'd had, and I like Eminem just fine, but it was like friends I'd had went from like being like nothing at all to do with rap to like all of a sudden it was like how just so intense.
Okay. I was gonna say, like-
that's not even a good comparison.
I was gonna say like the Slayer thing where the guy like carves Slayer into his arm
that's
and then
more
burns
apt.
it.
Yeah, it was a weak
No,
analogy.
basically what it is, it's just it was a constant dick measuring competition. Like it was like them who can be
yeah.
the most extreme.
Right.
They talk like there's actually that's for example to me this is hilarious. But like the metal bands like are making fun of other bands who are out drinking and having fun. They're like, that's not death metal. That's more like life metal. Like they had the actual lines. No,
Really?
like they were the biggest edgelords. Like think about they are South Park characters. Like that's
Look at Friedrich having fun.
yeah, just like what's metal about that? There's no pain in that.
Yeah.
And like they all so it's like centered around Euronymous, who's the guitar player of Mayhem, and he buys this record store and he creates a little circle, a little community called the Black Circle, and it's all these like metalheads
He
meet at
basically
this
just
record shop.
brainwashed them.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, he kept on like feeding bullshit and speaking like he was like, becoming like a false prophet of sorts. But people were buying it; they were eating it up because they were young, naive kids. Like that's the thing is, yes, you can just say that they were stupid because they were, but they were also kids.
And
they
if
were
you're
younger.
connecting to it for some reason, there's something in it for those kids that's like, oh, I understand something about this.
Well, it's a community too,
And
like
also,
a sense of
it was different
belonging.
times as well, where
Yeah.
like there was no like MSN to go talk to people. It was like y'all went down to the record store.
This is
and-
1993,
Yeah.
like around that time is when
Yeah.
it was happening. But basically, what happens is like one of them sets like they're like, how can we get people to pay attention to this album? They're like, how can we get people to notice? And it's all about like this. It was all a marketing tool to this guy, and that's what a lot of metal fans aren't liking. So like, it was so much more than that. But it shows like if you just really think about it for a second, this guy, what he was doing was he even uses the words, he was building an empire, and it's like he was totally creating an image. And this image started to snowball out of control, and it gets crazier and crazier and crazier.
because he's got to keep topping himself.
Well,
And people are topping each other. Like people are
Right.
killing. There's actual people murdering people, and like there's a couple murders involved in this, and
Wow.
they burnt down. I don't even know how many churches. Like it's insane how many churches they burnt down. And that's the thing is like. I have no and like a couple of them are like killing cats and stuff like that, and like they go on stage and they're cutting their wrists on stage to show how hardcore they are, and like
it's kind of like that thing. I don't know if you guys noticed about like that the whole rap culture where it's if you talk about and rap about the same thing and show a certain image, you eventually start believing your own image.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
I don't know if you guys like go too deep into like Tupac stuff. Is Tupac was never a gangster.
No.
He was actually like a theater kid or whatever, and then it grew and grew, and all of a sudden he was hanging around with people who weren't theater kids, and that's when the guns and the violence started happening.
yeah, he's hanging out with actual like bloods and shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing, though, is that he wasn't from that background, but he portrayed that so much that he started believing his own hype.
No, yeah, and that's where I bring in the comparison to Alpha Dog is because it's like how these it's all about those rich white kids who want to play drug dealer, want to play gangster, and then they make a like crucial mistake that ends up defining the rest of their lives, and that's totally what's happening with this as well. But it ends tragically. Like it's a tragic story, but it's a endlessly fascinating one. I was saying to Courtney afterwards, Courtney and a couple friends I went with. I went with a couple of my friends who are very well versed on Mayhem and the whole Norwegian black metal scene. And they said that it was really faithful, but they can understand why people would be pissed because like it's pretty like it's really funny. And those people don't want to be taken as a joke. But in reality, they're kids. They're kids being stupid, and I love the movie. I know it's a lot of people. I know our friend. I don't like doing this because he's not here to share his side of what he thinks of it. But I know like our mutual friend Craig Silliphant wasn't crazy about like at the very beginning it's very very heavy on the narration, like the inner monologue, which I totally get. It really is like it's very very heavy on that, but it didn't necessarily bother me. But I can see why it would bother some people. Overall, I just like it's the third week in January, and I was like, I don't think that there's going to be a movie that I will personally like more than this for the rest of the year. Like I loved it so much.
So real quick, without spoilers, I guess that scene that happened, could that happen now with the existence of the internet?
No.
People could do stupid things, but not to the extent that they were going through. Like they were burning down hundreds of churches.
It's because is that we now have not to steal your thunder here, but we have so many different outside sources where you're getting so many different things pulling you. Whereas at that time is you didn't have all this access to information. You knew what you knew because of your community.
And these guys were so bored. Like that's the other thing you got to remember too. They didn't have stuff to do, so like it was like one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is like they're like celebrating finishing an album. They're like, we should burn one together. Like, and it's like it's just funny because they like are.
Have they never heard of jacking off?
No, I know.
Yeah,
but that's the other thing too is like I know some people are pissed that they don't really go because these guys were like huge fucking nerds too. Like they were like D&D guys. Like they played like that's where they get all
I
of
heard
the.
About that.
They get really heavy into role playing
swords
and
and shit too.
Yeah, and swords and like that thing is they weren't into the whole groupie thing. They were into playing like they wanted to be just evil. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, but I loved it
because like when I was in high school, there was like maybe 3 or 4 groups of people, and if you didn't fit into one of those groups, you were kind of screwed. Mm-hmm. And I kind of floated because I played football, but I also liked theater, and like I did okay. But I could see if you weren't fitting into one of those neat groups that would be very like something you'd be interested in finding this like group that is doing weird shit. That because it's like I belong to this like. These guys that are like doing some crazy shit because I'm not a this or that. And now you can find anything you like on the internet. So like if you're into like anime but also whatever it is, you can find that group on the internet. Where when I went to high school, there was none of that shit. You were either like a jock, a prep, or like a skid.
I love that your version of yourself in high school is basically every main character from a musical. They're like, I'm the football guy, and I also sing.
Yeah,
I was basically looked and acted exactly like Zac Efron. No, it was. I was a weird kid in that way but I did okay that the football guys didn't care that I was in the theater and vice versa. But in fact, the theater people were more judgmental. They're like, "Oh, you play football."
It's weird, isn't it? That's
this guy runs. What the
theater?
He wears shoes.
Theater people were the fucking worst.
Oh, and it was awful.
Yeah, they were the most judgmental, hands down.
Yeah, it's why I didn't really pursue it like after high school in the first few years.
They're so painful to be around.
I just was like, I don't want to be lumped in with these weirdos. Yeah.
Not only that, but they're like. It's one of those things where it's like people think that they get bullied. It's like, no, they're the assholes. Like these are the people who are like making fun of everyone else around them.
Yeah,
like,
and I think it was like a preemptive move by them, but still super shitty.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's different everywhere.
Mike wearing shoes.
Seriously, it was like none of them ever wore shoes. I'm like, what do you like? How do you walk to school? Because you're always barefoot in school.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
But if one last thing about this movie, if you want to understand how big of a fucking loser I am. There's a scene where they walk out of a video store and there's a copy of Analyze That in the window on VHS. And Analyze That is from 2002. So continuity problem.
You need to go on IMDb and under goofs or whatever, write that shit in.
I haven't thought about Analyze That in 20 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So but that's the thing is, and it's barely in it. Like I was like, oh, it's Billy Crystal hugging Robert De Niro. Right. So I was like, that's Analyze That. That came in 2002. This is 1993. You fucking idiots.
It should be singles.
Yeah.
In episode 402 of Itchy and Scratchy.
Excuse me.
But no, yeah, I don't know. I love the movie. I hope it gets distribution. People can see it really soon because it's something special in my opinion. So that's everything I have. Let's get back to you, Mike. Did you think of something or...
Not really for horror. One thing I just burned through real quick was the second season of Punisher. Do you guys watch Punisher?
I haven't. I've only seen the first couple.
Yeah,
episodes.
I've only seen season 1. I haven't got into season 2 yet.
Just real quick, what were your thoughts on season 1? Like,
I actually and I mean, coming from me, this is high praise because I'm not into that whole Marvel thing, and I thought Punisher was really good.
Yeah, it really stands apart from the Marvel.
Yeah, because I watched some of Luke Cage with my roommate, and I was kind of like, I was whatever about Luke Cage. I know you guys probably didn't like it as much. I was just kind of whatever, but watching Punisher, I was like, this is really good.
Like, they're fine, but it's not. Punisher is really like. I watch a lot of violence. I don't ever seek it out, but it doesn't bother me, you know. But season 2, I had to like look away at some parts.
Really,
that's good to
like,
know.
There's one scene, I don't want to ruin it, but he's in a weight room, and he just grabs a 5-pound weight and pounds on the guy's face, and it makes Sloth from Goonies look like a model after he's done. And I just couldn't like the sound.
Was that you? Or was that... So I thought someone posted on Instagram... Or Instagram was just like, oh, I didn't know Sloth was in The Punisher. Was that you?
No, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
No.
I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Oh, fuck, man. Someone put
Really?
that on
Oh,
their
that's
story.
funny.
Yeah, that's funny that 2 people made that comparison.
Oh,
I saw a picture of it, too.
Oh, really? It's I was hard to watch, but the story's not great. But I don't know. There's something real primal about somebody that embodies violence as much as Bernthal does.
I like Bernthal.
John Bernthal, this is his role.
Yeah.
He does so well at this.
Like they wrap it up where he just, you know, that where he goes, I can't do it because I sound like
I know what you mean, though.
giving birth, but it's like it's just like this
Come
guttural.
on, Rick. Billy, Jenny.
Yeah.
Fuck, he does that so much in. We just watched Sweet Virginia.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
It's fucking terrible. I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
But it's like it tries so hard to be like the artsy, lowbrow, like low, slow, dark, grim, like kind of like Mud. Like,
Gotcha.
But not as fun. But I don't know. I love Mud. Mud 2, never clean.
What's that movie where the one where
Have you seen that Nathan For You?
I haven't actually.
Oh man, have you seen any Nathan For You?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's great.
Everyone, Nathan For You is the funniest thing that you will find on the internet. We'll watch some of it later.
Okay, how do I find it? Like just.
It was on the Comedy Network, so
okay.
just you'll.
Didn't
search
he
it
get
up.
Canceled?
Yeah, well,
He's in
he gets so
trouble for
out
that.
of control.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh my god, but okay, sorry.
What's that movie where Bernthal's like a college prof with tattoos and? Did you guys ever see that?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna
It
look
was
up.
one role where he didn't actually like kill people or like wasn't a shithead. Not a shithead, but like
Okay, so how did he do with that limited narrative?
not great, but only because of my expectations. I was like, well, who's he gonna like punch? Right?
Yeah.
But
Oh, the whole time he didn't kill one person.
yeah, it was weird. But after I got adjusted to it, I was like, oh, he's really good.
Pilgrimage. Yeah, even making him likable in Wind River was weird.
Yeah,
Because it's like you're not supposed to like John Berthel
right.
normally.
Which
normally
I'm glad for
But
him.
he's
'cause-
so good.
Me
He
or On the
is.
Dying Girl. He's in that movie, and he's not like I'm pretty sure he's a teacher in that.
What's the story? What's the premise of that movie?
It's one where the 2 friends of a girl who's dying.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
my memory's so shitty.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great
He's
movie.
not in it much, but it just was a good role for him to not be like killing people.
Yeah, I know. I like him, but he's just always like that's a guy who like I previously said who's the guy from The Practice, and he was in Clove Hitch Killer. Dylan McDermott.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
Dylan McDermott is the like if in the dictionary there was a picture of adultery or cheating on your wife, that's what it is. And John Bernthal is domestic abuse.
Yeah, totally.
John Bernthal, like he looks like the kind of guy who just beats his wife.
They make jokes about it. They're like, "Is that your nose or a bus parked on your face?" Or
Yeah.
like, they make a lot of jokes about how rough it is. They call him Rough Road.
Oh yeah,
in there
yeah.
because he just looks like. Other than that, I have not much for horror, but I watched. I finally got on board with Narcos. I don't know if you guys have seen Narcos.
I've been meaning to go back
Oh,
to it
man.
because I've gotten through. I'm in season 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The
But
only thing
it's
that's weird
fucking
is
awesome.
you can't be on your phone at all because it's like 90% subtitles.
Yeah, that's what makes it so great. Though.
It is. That's why I think that's why I got more invested in it. And then I've been watching lots of documentaries. After Narcos, I watched Murder Mountain. I don't know if you guys know about that one.
Yeah, we started it.
Yeah, I haven't finished it, but I started watching it.
like it kind of gets to be pretty repetitive, but you get the idea generally. But
Did you see 3 Identical Strangers yet?
no, I haven't. How's that?
My god, it's so good.
Is it? Yeah.
It blew my fucking mind. But it's crazy because it starts off so like happy and fun
what I
and
wondered.
like kind of heartwarming, and then it's not. Like,
Really? Okay, awesome. That makes me more interested.
it's great. Yeah,
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
But cool with nothing else.
No, that's about it. I've been watching lots, but it's like you and stuff that
Yeah.
we've already talked about. But other than that, yeah, not tons. Even in the theater, it's been pretty like, especially in regards to horror. It's interesting that you said about not going to movies a bunch. I used to go like 4 or 5 times if I liked something, but then the last 5 years, it's sort of like twice is a big deal. So I saw Spider-Verse twice, but that's the only one I've seen twice in a long time.
Okay, so we can, because I was gonna say that's movie of the year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
at least in that genre for sure.
I think out of non-horror movies, like I've been battling with it hard if it's Infinity War or Spider-Man or Mission Impossible Fallout. I loved all those movies.
Right.
Like I loved them all. But after just like thinking about it long and hard, that's what she said. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was so fucking
especially
good.
because it was so unexpected.
It's so different.
Yeah.
It's just something in a superhero movie being that different. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that'll tie into Glass nicely because we can talk about that superhero.
And let's talk about the ethical part of Spider-Verse where Spider-Ham is eating a hot dog. How do you feel about that?
I loved it.
I just want to keep bringing that up every time.
That's,
because it's phallic and cannibalism. All at
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
time.
Oh fuck, I loved it so much. But to me, that's some. And I know that you're a fan. You're a fan, but you're tired of it as well. The whole
worn out,
superhero
man.
thing.
I'm worn out.
But honestly, man, 3 of the best movies I saw this year were superhero movies. I don't know if that's amazing or that's sad.
Well, like especially with Infinity War, the stakes have been built. Like it's been a long time coming, and that's why I'm still on board.
Yeah.
But in terms of like Captain Marvel and stuff, I just have no expectations other than to see how
That'll be
Nick
fun. Yeah, Brie
loses his
Larson.
eye.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to see.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I hope they deal with it. And
But
obviously,
Black Panther was awesome.
you're right. Black Panther was on my list. Yeah.
You obviously didn't like Aquaman.
Not so much.
I liked it. I was
Did you?
surprised.
Yeah, I mean more than I would have thought, but that's too long of a conversation. But yeah, I mean it's fine. It's fine.
Another day off
Yeah.
air, off of the horror podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm always a distraction in that way.
No, that's totally fine. All right, well, let's get into some news, and then we're going to work our way down to our Glass main feature. So we'll be back with some motherfucking news with Booze.
All right, and welcome to news. We got a couple pieces this week, so I'll try and be quick about it. The producers of Halloween, they are interested in tackling Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw, which, as they should. That movie did great for the franchise. Made them Blumhouse made a shitload of money, and I as much as you guys have already said that you didn't really like the Halloween movie,
I still like it.
No, it's you didn't love it or anything. It did really well, and I think that they could probably do something to help those franchises who are kind of dead in the water right now.
How involved was Jason with Halloween?
Very.
Jason
Blum?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said he would. What was he going to say? Like he would cut his dick off if it didn't come out by Halloween. Remember that? That was like last year. He'd promised.
You're talking. Okay, so Jason Blum and Halloween. That's what we're talking about right now. Yeah, no, he was very heavily involved.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
And that's the thing. He'll put like so much stock into movies like Halloween or anything with Jordan Peele, for example. Now, like, for sure, he'd put a whole bunch of effort into it. Like I'm totally fine with more Texas Chainsaw Massacre, more Jason, more fucking like all those things. So it's like there's been so many shitty sequels at this point, anyways. Like who cares?
Right.
Like that's if it sucks, you can just ignore it, like I do with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, and you have to kind of look at it as he's actually involved where he likes a lot of the things that he's going to be putting out. Not to say that everything, compared to like New Line Cinema. New Line Cinema doesn't give a fuck about any of these titles. They just want that money out the door.
Yeah, they care about Nightmare, and that's it. Like Nightmare, because that is like their main property.
That's just using that as an example.
Yeah, no, I know. But with that being said, I think the only like time I'd be genuinely nervous, besides like don't touch Jaws or The Exorcist. But other than that, like Nightmare on Elm Street would be the one that I'd be scared about. But I want it, but I also don't know if I want it.
I know.
Like that's the one that I'm like, you just can't do it. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with Candyman. So that'll be a good way.
Dario Argento does not like the Suspiria remake. I think everybody fucking knew that. Yeah.
Like that's so stupid. Like, and it also we talked about that on So Be It last night because I'm like, as much I love both. I really like both versions of Suspiria. I think I still like the original. It's crazy, only a little bit more. Like they're both really good. But he made Luca Guadagnino. I can't pronounce his name properly. Whoever, he made the movie his own. He didn't copy anything about the original Suspiria. He made, it's the polar opposite of what the original Suspiria is. So I'm like, I don't know why Dario Argento would be pissed about that. It's like he didn't try stealing what you did.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he's probably just mad. It's like, that thing has the same name as my thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's just... I think what also might be pissing him off is a lot of people do like it more than the original. Mm-hmm. That might be it.
Yeah, that's fair. The next Happy Death Day to you. They've bumped it back a day in terms of release, because originally it was supposed to come out on Valentine's Day, which is a Saturday. So now it's coming out on the 13th, Friday the 13th.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so not huge news, but that's...
Let's talk about that for a second, though, because we all saw Glass, and the trailer for Happy Death Day to You is in there. Have you seen Happy Death Day?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You saw the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, because Courtney and I were talking about how fucking pissed would you be if you hadn't seen Happy Death Day yet.
I know, I thought that too.
They spoil the entire fucking movie.
It's like, what? Yeah.
I don't know about you guys about that whole thing, but I was smiling the whole time watching that.
Oh, trailer. I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be fun, but the thing is, like, they spoil the entire movie of the first. They're like, hey, here's what happened in the first one. It's like, this movie's 2 years old. Like, it's like that's
no new onboarders. It's just people that have already
seen it. I know,
it.
and it's like there's a fucking time machine in this one. I'm like, god damn, like they're not pulling back on this thing, but I'm still looking forward to it. That's what we're doing for Valentine's Day.
Nice.
That's fair. Yeah. And it's kind of been slow for news. A lot of it's just kind of retreads of other things. The last thing I'll say is, which I found this super interesting. When did we do our episode talking about stuff from like Reddit? You know, like the Reddit urban legend stuff. I believe we did. It was a long time ago. We did an episode kind of talking about that urban legend thing. But there's
creepypastas.
Yeah, creepypasta, that sort of shit. There's a movie coming out about the Russian sleep experiment, which originated on Reddit and is actually kind of an interesting concept.
Did you just read the headline for that one?
No. The actual movie is going to be called The Soviet Sleep Experiment. So they really reached on that title there, but it's definitely a cool concept, and I'd be interested to see a movie about it.
I don't know much about it at all, so I'm in.
Like, you should read it. It's not that long.
I will.
And then that's all I have for news. So I think you had.
I got two things.
Cover them.
I got two things. Just a reminder that this Friday, it would be Friday, January 22nd. No, that's tomorrow. Friday, January 25th. The Resident Evil 2 remake is coming out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. And I think that's it. I think maybe PC. I don't know. I'm getting it on PS4.
Wii U?
Yeah. Either way, that game was a huge deal for me, and I am so excited to spend my Friday night and my weekend playing Resident Evil 2 again.
Okay, so I've never played it, so that's like...
That's a place to start, man.
Awesome.
Because I started with 2, and then I went back to... Resident Evil 2 was the first Resident Evil game I ever played.
Okay. Because I'm going through serious withdrawal after Red Dead and Spider-Man.
Yeah, those are the exact 2 games I just finished.
Yeah.
And
I'm not even really done Red Dead, because I don't know if you ever could be.
I know.
I've played like most.
I'm in the epilogue.
Yeah.
And it's like do I need to milk cows for 2 hours?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, hey, I haven't gotten there yet. So.
Spoiler, you milk cows.
I'm really excited. I know, because you sent me like 4 Snapchats. I just put Snapchat back on today. All of Mitch's things is him milking cows. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
And the girl that gives you a bath finally gives you a handy, so that's a really
What? Okay, there's a reason to keep playing that.
I'm totally kidding. But I was like, really? This is Rockstar, and there's no
that's what I was thinking. I was like, am I just having a bath? Yeah. There's literally nothing else.
Thanks for the bath, man. Because she even implies that she's like, anything else? And you're like, no, go away. It's like, no, come back.
She reaches down into the bubbles by his crotch, and he's like, so you're from around here? Like,
I know, it's like,
really?
it's so wholesome. I'm just like, I'm used to like Grand Theft Auto, where you're like paying prostitutes. Okay, well, either way, so Resident Evil 2 remake, not like, so it's completely, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but the original ones had like that side or top view, not top. Do you know how do I describe it? Like Onimusha, Resident Evil. Do you remember those games where it's like you go into a room and
it's like
it's not like
third person, I believe. Yeah. You're basically like looking at their back, and you can see their hair.
You can see the whole room.
Yeah,
it's like it's awkward, but it's
like very awkward.
But it's what in Silent Hill was like that too. But that's what made those games scary, because you could see the whole room.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I'm looking for it, and now it's kind of like how they changed it with Resident Evil 4, which is an amazing game, one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm probably going to try and play that again after this, because I know they have a remaster for that as well. But it's like kind of like Gears of War view now.
Oh, okay.
But fuck, I am so excited for this game, you guys. Like, I can't wait. One last thing, I can't believe we didn't talk about last week, so because I forgot to.
My bad.
No, well, there's a new trailer for a Netflix movie that's coming out on February 1st called Velvet Buzzsaw.
Oh,
you guys know about this?
No, I haven't seen it.
Have you seen the trailer? Okay,
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, I posted on my Facebook page a couple weeks, it would have been like last week, I think. But So Velvet Buzzsaw is after a series of paintings by an unknown artist are discovered, a supernatural force enacts revenge on those who have allowed their greed to get in the way of their art. And it's starring Jake Gyllenhaal, John Malkovich, Toni Collette, Natalie Dyer, Rene Russo, David Diggs, who's clipping, and he was in Blind Spotting, if you've seen that yet.
Yeah.
And Billy Magnuson, directed by Dan Gilroy, writer-director of Nightcrawler.
What in the world?
Man, this movie looks fucking unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, it's like, it looks very artsy, but oh my god.
This is a Netflix original?
Yeah, well, it's being put out through Netflix, but Dan Gilroy, though, have you seen Nightcrawler?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, I gotta lend you Nightcrawler right tonight, because it is, it's so good.
Yeah.
But man, this movie is gonna be fucking nuts.
Man, I hate that they don't recommend it. Like, they're recommending, like, I don't know what they did the other day, and I was like, well, not even close. Where that's, like, way more up my alley.
Oh, yeah. Like, watch, I posted the trailer on Facebook a little while ago, but it should be there. Just Google or YouTube Velvet Buzzsaw, because holy goddamn does it look like something else. But that's all I got for news, so I'm looking forward to that.
Toni Collette is, like, just at the top of her
well,
game.
and Jake Gyllenhaal, man. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
And he's going to be big this year, especially with Mysterio and everything.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's all I got for news. Let's get on to our main feature, in which we will be talking about M. Night Shyamalan's Glass.
It is true. My bones break easily. I've had 94 breaks in my life.
But you have an extraordinary IQ.
This is not a cartoon. This is the real world.
No way.
And yet, some of us still don't die with bullets. Some of us can still bend steel. I've been waiting for the world to see that we exist. May I meet the beast? I hope for your sake that he likes you. That sounds like the bad guys teaming up. A lot of people are going to die.
And welcome to our main feature presentation, in which we will be discussing M. Night Shyamalan's Glass, which came out, obviously, it's 2019. It's starring James McAvoy as Patricia, Hedwig, Dennis, Kevin, the Horde,
etc.
Yeah, etc. Bruce Willis is back reprising his role as David Dunn. Samuel Jackson is back as Elijah Price, otherwise known as Mr. Glass. And Anya Taylor-Joy is back from Split, playing her role of Casey Cook. Sarah Paulson is a new character playing Dr. Ellie Staple. Spencer Treat Clark, who plays David Dunn's, Bruce Willis' son in Unbreakable, is back after all these years playing Joseph Dunn.
What has he done since then?
He was in The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Yeah, he looks very familiar.
Yeah, Town That Dreaded Sundown is what I remember. And M. Night Shyamalan has found a way to shimmy his little fucking asshole face in this movie. So he's in there at the beginning a little bit.
And whoever played Daryl.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing. We are going to give a spoiler-free review, and then we are going to give you ample time to check out. If you haven't seen this movie yet and you don't want to hear spoilers, you will be able to check out. We're going to give our overall thoughts, general feelings towards the movie. We're going to try get through at least a little bit of this without spoiling it, and articulating our thoughts and concerns about the movie without spoiling anything. So we'll do our very best with that, and then I'll give you a warning. But before we get onto all that, I want to take us back a few years here. So let's rewind to episode 17 of the Terror Table. This is why I wanted Diego, obviously I know Diego is actually bummed about missing this one, because I know his favorite episode of the Terror Table that we've done was our M. Night Shyamalan retrospective, and that's one that I'm still very proud of.
Shamed if you do, shamed if you don't.
Yes, and that is episode 17 if you want to go back and give it a listen. But what we had done is the three of us had watched all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies freshly. We went through every single one of his movies leading up to... We recorded the day leading up to going to see Split in the evening.
I remember this.
Yeah, so we took a break. We went and we saw Split, and then we came back and we recorded till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's what happened. I went back and I listened to just the main feature of that episode because I wanted to be all right, so where were we at like going into this? Because okay, so Diego said he would love to see more from the Unbreakable universe. I said that would never ever happen. M. Night Shyamalan isn't a sequel guy. I love the idea, but no one's gonna do he won't do an Unbreakable sequel 15 years later, 20 years later. Cue us shitting in our pants when 3 hours later we can find out that Split is an Unbreakable sequel.
You two shitting in your pants.
So you didn't like? Oh yeah, because you didn't like Unbreakable.
I didn't care. Like I remember being in the theater when you guys were like, "Bah!" And I was just kind of like, okay.
I remember. Okay, I'll get to that right after I'm all done here. But we talk about how amazing that is, but how amazing Unbreakable was, but we didn't expect more from it. Like that's definitely not what we were. We weren't prepared for that at all. What else? I wrote down a few things. Diego and I said that we would watch it, but it probably wouldn't be very good. So Q, like we all watched Split. I think you had said, Buzi said that it's probably Shyamalan's best movie. Diego fucking loved it. It was his number 1 of 2017. It was my number 2 of 2017. I adored it. I loved this movie. It was the one movie that I saw twice that year in theaters. I loved pretty much everything about it, and all topped off with the whole idea of it being a sequel to what I feel is M. Night's best movie, Unbreakable. I just loved it. But at that time, I was like, yes, I love that nod, but I don't know if it needs more. And I don't know if I... okay, let's go back. Where were you with this whole Split thing? How did you react to Split? What's your relationship with M. Night Shyamalan in general, Mike?
It's hit or miss, obviously, with him, but
Well, you didn't like After Earth?
I never saw After Earth. I never saw that.
We
After
Never
Earth.
do. Never do.
Yeah,
We tried.
yeah, that's what really. Okay, that's what I heard. I loved Split, first of all, for the same reasons. Like it was. I mean, McAvoy's a big part of it, but also it was like. It's almost like he'd found more freedom in a $20 million movie than like a $150 million movie. And it I didn't care that it all took place in like under the zoo, like in one location and all. I loved it. I thought it was
the best, one of the best parts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oftentimes that's limiting, but
Shyamalan's great when he's contained.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it might have been more of a time and place thing, but I think my favorite is probably Signs. Even on a technical level that doesn't make any sense, but I loved it just for the reaction it got out of me the first time I saw it. I liked Unbreakable a lot, but it just sort of left too many questions, and also I just have a real issue with Bruce Willis now. But I still really liked it a lot, and so when at the end of Split, when you see David Dunn, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's in the same universe.
Yeah. Which had been speculation. Like, people had said that to me, and I was like, I don't know about that. They would have announced something to make it more sellable. Blah, blah, blah.
So you didn't click in right away that it was like connected to... Okay.
Oh, so when did you know? Like when...
Here's the thing is... we knew
so
because...
at the end of the movie.
Yeah, so what happened was, especially since I've seen Unbreakable so many times.
Right.
Like, so I really do love that movie. But we had just watched these movies were fresh because we were doing the episode on it, and there's the Unbreakable music, and at the end of Split, the Unbreakable music starts playing, and I looked over at Diego and I'm like, what the fuck? And then they're explaining it, and then you see like you hear David Dunn's voice, you hear Bruce Willis's voice, and like I actually stood up. So I was like,
and that's where I didn't see that. Okay,
fuck.
I just didn't like. But it's at the end of the movie. Like I didn't catch on.
Not at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I thought maybe I missed something earlier on, but
I just thought it was like, it's kind of like Unbreakable.
Right.
Is what I thought. It was like this is what he's really good at. Is like kind of these character pieces about unrealistic but realistic people.
Yeah,
like that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, no, I was really excited for Glass because of that.
Yeah.
But also like it was tempered because I know he's really hit and miss.
Mm-hmm. But he's been on a sort of streak because he came back with The Visit, and I would say 60% of people liked it. Mm-hmm. Like a little bit over half. I know you weren't crazy about it, Buzi, but I really enjoyed it. I know Diego really enjoyed it. But like even just in general, like people were like, "Oh, it's not a catastrophe like The Last Airbender or The Happening." But it's like it's either your thing or it's not. Mm-hmm. And then Split was like. I don't understand people who hated Split. I'm like, what is there to hate about that movie? Like, I really don't get that.
I think it's people that are just easily bored.
Yeah, because
there's not enough. I think there's not enough action for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's because I was just so fucking into that movie.
Yeah,
but I guess it's different strokes for everyone. But
did he? What was that one in the elevator? Did he just produce that one?
He just produced it.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, so you were excited for this. You enjoyed Split quite a bit.
Definitely, yeah.
What's the chances that 2 episodes in a row someone's brought up Devil?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's
Oh,
what-
yeah,
we
Courtney
talked
did
about.
last-
Yeah, we talked about Devil
weird.
last episode. Yeah. That is crazy. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Glass.
Okay, how was everyone? I don't know where you wanted to go first, but I'd kind of go like, what was everyone wanting going into it? Was everyone excited?
First of all, I didn't want this movie, but I said that I would watch it and I would be cool with it. Like I was like, it would be interesting, but I can't imagine how you'd be able to pull it off. I'm like, I love that it was. I would have loved it as just a nod that they were, kind of connected in the same universe. Like, I'll say right now that Courtney and I watched Unbreakable and Split again before we saw this. We did a whole day of it. Our Saturday was we woke up, we watched Unbreakable, and then we watched Split, then we went to see Glass. And Unbreakable is still, to me, to Courtney, like Courtney said, she's like, I think that might be one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, she's obsessed with it now. And it's like, she says that it's in her top 5.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like, I've always kind of thought that as well. I'm like, it is as close to a perfect movie as a lot of, like, some of my, like, I think it's a damn near perfect movie. It's fucking so good, and it holds up really well for me. I love the tone of it, and I think it's one of Bruce Willis's best roles, because he's doing this thing where, like, he likes to sleep through his roles. Like, where he's kind of like not alive.
Yeah.
But he comes alive a little bit in
Right.
Unbreakable, and it feels like he actually has a heart and a connection to the David Dunn character is what I like about it so much. But yeah, I love that. And then watching Split again, this was my 4th time watching Split. It still plays like the first time. I was like, fuck, it is so goddamn good. Loved every second of it. When the ending kicked in, I was like, I'm still getting chills. I'm like, it's crazy. I'm like, this is the 4th time I've seen it, and I still love the reaction that I'm getting. But I went, like, with the trailers coming out with Glass, I'm like, it looks all right, but I'm like, I think this is too much for him.
It's I feel like, it was unnecessary. I think that's a lot of people's opinion.
Yeah.
When that is like, oh, okay, this is what you're doing next.
I had no idea where the fuck you'd go with it. Like, how M. Night, of all people, who's like really good in minimal situations, how he would handle like 3 key characters all at once. Like, these are all 3 larger than life characters who all have such fleshed out
Well, and this would
storylines.
be like, for him especially, is more of a sequel than anything else, because you wouldn't call Split a sequel to Unbreakable. They just happen to be in the same universe. So
Yeah.
this is his like true sequel.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
this is what has put it in stone that it Split's a sequel. Like, because before it could have just been a cool nod. Could have been,
Right. Yeah. So, when you're a kid at Christmas and you ask for something crazy and you're falling asleep the night before, like, let's say you're 8 years old and you ask for, I don't know what, something that your parents really
A
should.
Lego
Fleshlight.
X-Wing.
Yeah, or like for me it was a Millennium Falcon or something, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just like
A Fleshlight.
Yeah, you guys
Is that what you said? I was like, I just
yeah.
heard Lego and I was like, what? Lego?
Yeah. We're so genuine with our answers.
That's just like defined your characters or your personalities like so concisely. So you're falling asleep the night before and you're like, there's probably no way I'm getting that Fleshlight or that
That Lego. Let's meet in the middle as a
The
Lego
Lego
flashlight.
Oh. So I but there's a part of you that's like there's a chance. There's a chance I could get it because it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. That's how I felt about Glass. I was like, there's a chance. And when you mentioned before about Halloween, how they wouldn't do it unless it was like perfect.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing of him. Because I thought he won't do this unless he's got like an ending to it, a conclusion to the story that is so good and like makes everything matter even more. He won't do it. He won't do it.
Especially since he's come back now.
That's the whole thing. You guys probably didn't watch. He was on the Norm Macdonald show on Netflix.
Yeah, 100% I did.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he talks about in there how he has more freedom now. His kids are older. He's back to kind of what he knows. And I
He's
was
still
like,
pulling money he put some of his own money into Glass.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
a Split. Like, he's done that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I that's how I went into it. Was like, I don't know about this, but there was like 10% of me that was like, maybe this will be like mind blowing.
I think the trailer still it looked decent, but but for me it was like, I just think it might be just too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so much pressure, because like, to me, I'm like, that's such a huge level of hype to live up to, because I personally think that the problem with it is that both those movies are so fucking good. It's not like it's just like, these are just two cool movies that,
Right.
To me, it's just like, he's got huge shoes. Like, he's got to really fucking bring it for it to close the series out.
So what were you going in thinking?
Well, like
Because you're not as invested, right?
No, I'm not as invested. Like, out of all of us, definitely, I didn't enjoy Unbreakable as much. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It was fine for what it was. I can't remember exactly what I said on that episode.
I think you just weren't as crazy about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Split, I really enjoyed. I haven't actually watched it again since, but I just remember being like, oh, it was very enjoyable for me. So obviously, it's not like a complete home run. I did believe I put it in my top 10 somewhere because I did like it enough that first time, but I haven't gone back to it yet. So when I found out, I was like, oh, they're mashing these two together. It was kind of, for me, it reminds me of, let's say, if you were when you're really young, let's go back to this whole analogy thing, is when you're really young and you have like that neighbor who's the opposite sex from you. So let's say, there's a little girl across the street and she wants to hang out with me because we're both so young. She brings her Barbies over and I got my wrestling action figures. Now we're going to mash these things together and see what happens. That's what it felt like for me watching this. It's two completely different entities that are getting smashed together. I don't know if that's...
Okay, so you didn't like it.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
It was a thing, and I guess when we get talking more about it, is there's certain characters I liked, but the overall story I did not like.
I think that's what. Yeah, and sorry to like jump right into that, but when you're saying the Barbies and the GI Joes or whatever clashing, I think because like to me, Unbreakable and Split could potentially live together. But Glass has a tonal, like it feels so
Such
different.
A tone shift,
it feels very different than those other two movies, and it's like it cannonballs into the whole superhero thing. Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about it, Mike?
Yeah, I was very disappointed.
Yeah,
and like I liked Unbreakable, but it's not like
it's not a huge thing for you.
Not for me. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, this is a Star Wars or this is like there's certain directors I always think like. I know it's pretty on point, but like someone like Wes Anderson, where I'm so excited to see what they come up with next, even if it's the same deal that they've always done. But with him, I was like, we'll see. But I was even on that level, I was very disappointed. Like from the fall from the level of Unbreakable and Split, but Unbreakable because it's so old, it's lived in my memory for a long time, and like, but yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think of. I don't want to be spoilery, but it was. Yeah, I was very disappointed.
If that's what you like, we can get on to spoilers after I get onto this, and then we can really kind of fully delve into it.
Why don't you say how you felt, and then we can kind of really talk about it. So
sure.
Okay, so that was incredibly disappointing. But I didn't hate it either. I didn't think it was like horrible. I actually, when the curtains came up, when the lights turned on, Courtney was like, "What'd you think?" I was like, "That was fucking awful." So I said to her. But then, as I thought about it more, I'm like. Because throughout the movie, I was so entertained. And I was really like, I wasn't enjoying it, but I was entertained. And I don't know how to put that in.
Is this an escape room scenario again?
No, because escape room, I knew immediately that I liked. Because I was like, oh, this is fucking stupid. It's fun, whatever. Mm-hmm. But this is like, they have such huge shoes to fill for me. Like, I think that in order for this movie...
so you're holding it to a higher standard.
I think this movie needed to justify its existence, and I don't think that it did that. And I think that that's not unfair of me to want that from an Unbreakable and Split sequel.
That's actually a perfect analogy for that.
Yeah,
it didn't justify itself.
No, and it's very anticlimactic, which I'm not normally like. I didn't need, like, I was actually worried. We'll get to it in spoilers, but I was worried that it was going to go to a place where it was setting up that it was going to go to. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God. Like,
Please don't do this. Please don't do this.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly, because there are so many things that I like about this movie. I will say, okay, James McAvoy, M. Night has these huge ideas that rely completely, the only way that they'll work is if he has all-star actors who can fucking knock them out of the park. And I think his magnum opus is in James McAvoy. Like, I think he is so fucking good in Split.
That's his prize horse right there.
He is so good in this movie, too. I think some of the best scenes of, like, the Horde in general, or Kevin, or Hedwig, whatever you want, some of the best scenes of him are in this one, as opposed to Split. And, like, Split, I think, is... I love that movie. Like, there's not much I would change about it at all, but the scenes with James McAvoy in this movie are so fucking good.
It's because he had to amp it up, because the first one, if you'd seen Split, you're like, okay, I know kind of who these characters are. So now that he's already set the groundwork, he has to build from that. And I think he did a great job of defining all these characters. So there was never a point where I was like, who's talking? He did such a good job of And it's
He's
even
unbelievable.
it's his
unreal.
facial expressions.
Yeah.
It's how he delivers things.
How he switches from each character.
You can see that it's Patricia.
Yeah,
In
Patricia.
his eyes.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Patricia.
is insane.
I was thinking about that the whole
They
time.
go
I was like,
black.
he does feel like a feminine figure when he
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's him holding
he's
like his neck. It's
unreal.
Yeah, and he's so good. And like, there's so many incredible scenes in this movie. I think that there's a really cool idea in this movie too to bring them together. But my main issues with this movie are in that it's so convoluted with trying to tie these three characters together. I think that David Dunn deserved better than what he was treated with in this movie. I think that there's more to that character that just kind of, it felt like there was a lot of blue balls for me in this movie. Like,
tons.
and like the fact that this movie is called Glass, and I think Mr. Glass was by far the second worst part of this movie. Worst part of the movie for me was Sarah Paulson. I'm so fucking over Sarah Paulson. And her character in this movie was like, I was like, come on, guys! Like, if this is the idea to get these three together. Like, there's got to be a better way than this. And like some of the cringiest moments, like this movie. Like, I was talking with some friends about it yesterday. They're like, how was it? I was like people who actually know about M. Night Shyamalan, know about his filmography and everything. I'm like, imagine if all of M. Night's movies, the good, the bad, the horrible, and the great, were thrown into a blender and you had a smoothie, an M. Night movie, a smoothie. That's what Glass
M. Night
is.
smoothie.
It's like, it's got some of him at his very worst, and it's got some of him at his very best. And then it's got a lot of him just fucking coasting.
A lot of that.
A lot of it. Yeah. But I think a lot of it falls on, a lot of the faults towards that are because he's making a movie, a sequel to a movie 20 years old. And like the constant exposition was a huge issue for me.
That's something I wanted to touch on.
Yeah,
is
totally.
you could tell there was faults in you can definitely tell there's faults in a story when you have a character who's just constantly dishing out exposition
like
the
Samuel Jackson.
entire time.
We didn't need 17 monologues.
Sarah Paulson was way
she was-
worse for that.
Oh, no.
But there was a scene where they're all standing there and she's like, they're in this wing doing this specific thing and everybody can hear it. You're like, oh,
Not only that-
so that's why all the characters know. You could have done a better job.
Pretty much every line delivered from, like, a majority of the dialogue delivered in this movie, besides from James McAvoy's character, is all exposition to other movies. And like
It's like
other to
too
other
much
movies,
fan service
it's
almost.
it's to other movies or to comic books in general.
That's what I was going to say. Or talking about the history and the importance of
Yeah,
comic
like I'm
books.
like, and that's the other thing. I took a screenshot even at because I don't know when the last time you guys watched Unbreakable was, but okay, so Unbreakable, I took a screenshot of this. The movie opens up with like a little there's some text at the beginning, and what it says is, there are 35 pages and 124 illustrations in the average comic book. A single issue ranges in price from $1 to over $140. 172,000 comics are sold in the U.S. every day, over 62 million each year. The average comic collector owns 3,312 comics and will spend approximately 1 year of his or her life reading them. That was in 2001. So think about like this movie, like Spider-Man hadn't been out when Unbreakable came out, I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure.
I thought the first Spider-Man was 2001, somewhere in there.
It would have been right around there,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. the
Unbreakable
thing
is
it
2000. Spider-Man. Sorry, I need to find this out. It's 2002.
Oh,
so
okay.
like that's the thing is like Unbreakable predated all of this whole superhero fandom and like how everyone on Earth, like all the jocks are into Spider-Man all of a sudden and Green Lantern. Like it's like the world was a complete different place. It's like people know about comic books now. Like they don't need to be spoon-fed this constant exposition of like how comic books work. And
Plus,
that's what,
comic book readership is down significantly.
you think so?
It is. It very much like.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Would that be related to fatigue?
It's fatigue, and also
They can get it somewhere else.
why read what you can watch.
Oh, see that?
Essentially.
Yeah, that's me being naive then, because I totally thought it would be the opposite. I assumed that because Amazing Stories is always fucking packed with stuff. I'm assuming that they're a cash cow.
They're very much an exception. Like there's stores in Toronto that are doing GoFundMe's to stay open.
Yeah.
Oof.
Stores are closing. Like every month, I read about another store that's closing. Readership is down because the old guys like me are it's the same stories you've read a million times.
Yeah.
New kids are reading them, but like comics are $5 or $6.
Yeah.
So what
too much.
It's too much. So when I was a kid, it was
For
like you
single
could
issues.
buy like one with your allowance a
Yeah.
week, and it was great. You can. I mean, I don't know relative to what kids have for spending money now, but you're right. It's felt so dated and weird for him to keep referencing
Yeah.
comics.
And it was very very cringy for me. Like there's a lot of that, but I think pretty much everything Sarah Paulson said in this movie was cringy to me. And
I don't know why I was hating her so much because I did. She was kind of a nothing.
I'm fucking over her. Though.
Yeah,
she does the same thing in every movie, every TV show she's in. She does the exact same thing. The only thing is, her in The People versus OJ, she killed it in that. She was so. That. Oh man, that is a show you got to watch.
I know. I don't know how I escaped.
It's fantastic.
I think she was good for what she was. I didn't hate her the whole time. I knew what kind of character she was, and I didn't care. I don't. Her as a person, I like her as a person.
You don't watch American Horror Story?
No, I don't. I did watch the first 3, I believe, seasons. And I think she's fine enough for what she is. I just think she was given nothing to do here but fill in blanks.
Yeah, she was given a shit job.
You didn't know who she was as a person, as a character. When she left her job, you didn't care what she was doing. When she came back, you were just like, okay, here she is to fill in plot points.
And especially in a movie where you have those 3 actors and 90% of the lines are with Sarah Paulson, you're like, what the fuck is happening?
I know. Yeah.
And that was my biggest gripe.
Her character was there to justify them being there. That's
it was to bring them together. She was the Dr. Sartain of Halloween. Like that's what her character was. Her soul. But there's a lot to talk about in spoilers, so we'll jump into spoilers. But I will say quickly though, I don't hate Sarah Paulson as an actress. I think that it's just like she's constantly given the same role. Like she's always playing herself, like not herself, but like these roles are so similar. And
the uppity white woman.
Well, yeah, like not just like she's always, I don't know, trying to be like overly empathetic, and I don't know, I don't. I'm getting tired of her playing the same thing all the time.
It's not relatable.
Yeah, no, it's
and it's. We've seen it a ton.
Yeah. Last couple of things. I want to share some listeners shared their thoughts on what they thought of it, and I'm going to read them before we get on to spoilers.
Those don't have spoilers.
They don't. I double checked them here, but Bryson said, I did enjoy it. I'm not sure how others are feeling about it. I don't think it's better than Unbreakable or Split, and it wasn't really what I was expecting, but I did like the movie. It was a very grounded, realistic comic book movie, and I enjoyed the drama of it. And Daniel Epler said, I think most of the film's problems stem from the fact that it's an Unbreakable sequel when it should have just been solely a Split sequel. The continuation of Split works, but it's disappointing as a follow-up to one of the greatest superhero films ever made. I love the character of David Dunn, and the way he is sidelined is such a bummer. He hardly has anything to do. The action scenes and the climax were also disappointing. There were entertaining scenes, but overall I found it lackluster. I pretty much agree exactly with what Daniel said there.
Yeah.
But I'm really the thing about it though is ever since I've seen it, I keep on thinking about it more and more. And I think about the things there are things I fucking hate about this movie. And we'll talk about those in spoilers. But there's enough that I'm looking forward to watching it again because there are some things that I really liked in it. But I think overall, my main love of the things that I enjoyed most about the movie was McAvoy.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys want to get into spoilers?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So we're heading into spoiler territory. If you don't want anything spoiled, this is your time to check out. We'll be back next week with it'll be an episode on Sleepwalkers. So make sure you get a hold of that. Diego will be back. He should be no longer strep throaty boy. So, all right, this is your time to check out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Okay, now we can talk about everything and everything.
I just can't believe we finally got to see Bruce Willis completely full frontal. Like that, wasn't that fucking weird and jarring in a movie like?
Wait a minute, what the fuck? I went to the bathroom at one point.
Oh, dude, you missed it.
You're joking.
Yeah, I'm joking. Okay. I'm joking.
I was like, what?
They had a prime opportunity when they're gonna like shower him down in the no. Okay.
I was actually fucking like, and I would have been pissed.
Mitch goes back to the theater tomorrow.
I would. I would have been pissed if I found out that I went to the bathroom and I missed fucking. Oh my god.
But let's talk about him first, because that was by far my biggest disappointment. Is like, do you think he actually was written that few lines, or do you think Bruce Willis is just a shithead that refuses to get invested in anything he's in anymore?
I don't know. Like I really don't. Like I think he hasn't been invested in anything in a long time. I think that this is actually him. I think this is like because he loves. You can tell that he actually cares about Unbreakable.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of excited for this one.
Yeah, and I think he shows slivers of that, but he's given not much to work with here.
When they first fight and they come tumbling onto the building, and he has that Bruce Willis look on his face, like, am I going to fight or am I going to, like, it's like, oh great, we're going to have some like real David Dunn moments.
Yeah,
that was it.
I know. It was even. I thought it was even cringy from the beginning of him breaking into that house and like throwing those people around. I'm like, it's reducing. Like, the thing is that what made Unbreakable and Split so special is that they were very grounded superhero movies, and then now this one, it's like it's completely taking all that away.
Yeah,
it's turning into like it feels like a comic book universe, and like that's what made Unbreakable and Split special, is that while it has influences to comic books and everything like that, it's not a comic book universe.
Right.
Like, I felt that Sarah Paulson's character was just a straight up comic book character. Like, more so than even more so than Mr. Glass, who's like this evil genius in a wheelchair.
Well, and Mr. Glass's mom, it was like a cartoon character.
Oh, I know. That's exactly
like,
what it was.
To the costume design. It was like, what are they doing there?
And they shot themselves in the foot by having to bring back all these like old actors. I think that David Dunn's son was fucking terrible.
Oh, really? I thought he kind of stole the like any kind of emotional beats.
Really?
Yeah, because there was nothing going on.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, he just was sort of like, how is this kid given the movie? Right?
Yeah.
Like, especially with David Dunn scenes. But I mean...
He was good. He was good when he was dying. So I guess we're in spoilers.
Right.
We can talk about how they all...
I thought he was more relatable than Anya Taylor-Joy.
I love Anya Taylor-Joy.
Why would you do any of this?
I think it's because she
has...
has...
Is this fucking Stockholm Syndrome, though?
Close. It's that she has a connection with him because and that's one of my favorite parts about the movie is their connection, is because why would she go back to him after all this time? And it's like it's because of, if you remember in Split, she was sexually abused by her uncle, and that's how he ended up not sparing her, because she had felt real pain and everything before. And like this movie picks up after she had like gone and told someone finally about her uncle, and she's like taking her life back or whatever. She sympathizes with him because he went through a similar thing, and like that is why he's so fucked up, is that like he's got this issue with his dad dying and then his mom abusing him.
Does that make excusable all the things that he did to her friends as well as all these other...
Yeah.
I don't think it makes it excusable.
I think if it's a mental illness, 100% it does. It's like, that's what a lot of people, especially people who are like survivors of abuse, who understand what kind of...
Think about what his end game was, though, is that, yes, he's a survivor.
But when she's talking to... That's why she's trying to talk to Kevin in the light. Mm-hmm. Like Kevin, she feels completely sympathizes with Kevin, but everyone else, she not at all.
I still don't see him as a sympathetic character. I understand that in his kind of dying point, when he was kind of doing his last breaths, that when you truly do sympathize with him, but his end game of all these other characters were trying to bring out the Beast to be this larger than life superhuman, right? Wasn't it supposed to be like, this is the next evolution of mankind? When you look at it, is that he is straight up a villain minus one part of him that isn't. Mm-hmm. And then I guess you're kind of supposed to sympathize with the what was the kid's name, the 9-year-old, because they bring that up a lot. His one personality that's 9 years old.
Hedwig.
Hedwig. Yeah. You're kind of supposed to sympathize with him, but also Hedwig does a ton of shady shit too.
Well, Hedwig he loves Drake.
Exactly. He used to like Nikki, but they broke up.
Yeah, they broke it. That was fucking hilarious.
I like them both.
But like his whole thing is that, he's getting manipulated by all these other things, but he's not truly a sympathetic character either at that point, because he is doing nefarious things because people are telling him, yes, he's a pawn, but that means that there's really one personality out of that whole thing that is the good one, so it's harder to sympathize with.
Yeah, I don't know. I buy that, actually. And I know that I can see why you wouldn't, though. Mm-hmm. And I can see that being a flaw. But
because he is basically because there is like, Bruce Willis is your good character. Mr. Glass is on the opposite end. He wants to wreak havoc constantly. And you have kind of James McAvoy's character that's right in the middle, that there's a part of him that doesn't want to do all these bad things. And there's also a part of him that wants to destroy everything around him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of each. So and really, I didn't feel any sympathy for Bruce Willis's character. I didn't particularly like Mr. Dunn in this movie at all, because he didn't really. That's fair if you,
because I love Unbreakable.
Exactly, but you're liking him because of another movie. Yeah, I don't feel he did anything strong
in this movie. There's nothing.
No, he sits in his cell for half the fucking movie and pouts.
Yeah, he's really like, this is him like sort of awake, and he's not, and like that. So that's bad that he's been like, I watched that Death Wish remake this year, last year, And it was rough too. Did you watch
No.
that? Yeah, like I think he's completely in autopilot mode.
Yeah.
But I feel like if there's a time for him to give a fuck again, it's this.
That's why I kind of hoped would happen, but
Yeah.
I didn't see any of it.
And I think Sam Jackson always gives us 100%.
Yeah.
And my biggest problem with this movie is Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
And I liked a lot of the things he was doing,
Yeah.
but that was because he served the purpose of being that villain character who, if our other characters weren't filling in exposition, he was doing a lot. He shouldered a ton of the exposition throughout this whole movie and the storyline. He progressed a ton of the storyline. And
That's all he was there for.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but I feel like Bruce Willis's character, who was set
didn't
up
do
at the
anything.
start to be our protagonist, fell so far into the background, and it just became the James McAvoy show.
Yeah, he didn't
And-
do a thing.
Exactly, and I think M. Night Shyamalan realized is that James McAvoy is your character that you can anchor this movie to, but there was so much of that no one else in this movie mattered. If you have a trilogy that's all coming together, it should be more than just one strong character and everyone else is kind of weak.
Yeah. Like the movie could have been better if like David Dunn and Elijah Price were not in this movie at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's it's treated like a split sequel, more like what Daniel said. It is treated more like a split sequel than an Unbreakable sequel, and like that's like it's got the constantly they're trying to like fill in like, oh, this is what happened 20 years ago from that movie that you might not have seen.
Right. They just use deleted scenes.
Like
that are on
the whole
DVD.
M. Night Shyamalan scene of him being in it, he's just like, where do I recognize you from? He's like, oh, I worked security at the stadium. He's like, oh yeah, I really turned my life around since then. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but in Unbreakable, he was a fucking drug dealer in that movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, God, that's cringy.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking stupid.
But if you objectively look at this movie, you could take out Bruce Willis's all of his parts of this entire movie and his son. There's still a movie there.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
little he impacted it.
Yeah.
You could have had Anya Taylor-Joy take up that point of being the protagonist character at the end who does save it, give her a little bit more, and you could have taken him out completely. Not that I want
Yeah.
them to take him out, but he wasn't given enough.
No, he wasn't
to be
given
a
enough.
person.
He didn't have the story ready for this.
Yeah.
And that's like his main reason to being in the movie is for the big reveal that Kevin's dad, who like died on the or on the train crash, was the same crash that David Dunn was on, that Elijah Price orchestrated.
because he's bad.
Yeah, and it's just like he's like, so technically I made you. And it's like that's the connection
That
here.
big turn was such a dud.
I didn't hate that that's where his dad died. I thought that was cool, but I was just like, it felt very tacked on. Like David Dunn felt tacked on, which is the big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't have that foundation, then nothing matters.
But
Exactly.
Like, do we give a shit about Sarah Paulson's little fraternity or whatever you want to call, like, secret group?
Yeah,
Of Irish people
and that's the
for
other
some
thing.
reason?
So that whole plot line of people who are like, okay, so they're keeping superheroes quiet after all these years. That's what their job is.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a fucking second, because
that was dead on arrival. That whole secondary.
I get that she's trying to do her job and she's trying to convince them that they're not superheroes. That's her whole prerogative. But it reduces the characters to stupid fucking morons when she's talking to Kevin or the Horde and being like, do you think that maybe the reason you can scale walls is because of all the YouTube videos of rock climbing that you watched at the zoo?
You have a lot of pictures of rock climbers
Yeah,
on your
you
wall.
got really obsessed with rock climbing. That's why you could scale the walls and run on fucking ceilings.
Yeah. and your neck gets like 3 times as big as...
Exactly. And he's like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And same with David Dunn. She's like, magicians, when they touch people, they have an intuition. They can figure people out. Do you ever think that you might have magician-like intuition? It's like, what the fuck are we
he even
doing?
contemplates that too. He goes like,
know.
you're right.
Yeah.
And then his character for a little while is that he doesn't believe in himself. And instead of having a big comeback moment, they're just like, break down this door. Okay.
I was like, what the fuck are we doing here?
So the worst part for me of all of that is, even if that was her incentive, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
If I wanted to convince you guys and Diego that you never had a podcast and it was like 15 years in the future, would I put you in the same fucking room?
So we can all communicate
Yeah, I'd be
about
like, oh
it.
right, we did sit in this exact same position
Yeah.
doing a podcast. Or would you separate them and wear them down?
Yeah.
Because you can wear people down. Like you listen to witness tapes about JFK or whatever. You can literally convince people to give a confession.
Yeah.
If you starve them of food and water for like 36 hours. So for her to put them in a room, be like in a pink room, that looks like what right out of a fucking Wes Anderson movie. And
I know,
like,
and they're all in the same hallway.
Yeah, I know,
they're across the hall from each
there's
other.
my arch nemesis.
They're flatmates.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
It's Odd Couple. That's all.
Yeah, and that's not a budget thing. There was no reason why they couldn't have done that as a story.
It's like Friends, like where Ross and Rachel are across the hall
Yeah.
from Monica.
Yeah, and it's like, what is happening? So I just kept like looking over at my buddy, going like, I can't even believe this is a thing.
I know.
Yeah,
And how Elijah's quiet the whole time. I'm like, okay, the movie's called Glass, and he doesn't say a fucking word for 3/4 of the movie.
And then he just explodes with exposition.
yeah, and they just
out
explode
of
like,
nowhere.
This is the part where you'd have question marks above your head in little bubbles.
because comic books. You guys remember comic books?
Yeah, this is your origin story. I'm like, my God. I was like, that's not acceptable
It
anymore.
felt like he was trying to do that like Deadpool almost thing where it was
Winking at the
farsing.
screen.
Yeah, it was farsing comic books, but it didn't try hard enough, and it kind of lost itself in that.
I think it
And that-
tried too hard.
And that
Like,
whole mega building thing, I remember when they showed the skyline and you saw it there, I was like, oh, that building's definitely there.
Right.
It looked like completely different to everything else in
Yeah.
such a shitty way that you can tell. You know, that's when it took me out of being a movie.
And that's why if they were going to subvert all of the stuff that comic book movies have come to be known for, great.
They did do that,
which
though.
is what they did. Except that they went. He didn't commit to it in a way that actually made sense. So like
Yeah.
when we were talking before about, please don't have the showdown at the building.
yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna fight at the tallest building, and I'm
Right.
gonna blow up the lab.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I was
I'm glad
actually.
they didn't. But then to have David Dunn killed by someone who you don't even see his face.
Yeah, you don't see his face, and he
they all get killed by tattoos.
he drowns him in
Right,
a fucking
yeah.
puddle.
Yeah. By the way, also like 250 yards away from this tub of water that started to leak from a crack, and then all of a sudden they're both rolling out onto the lawn. Like, how did they just roll out of it? Like, it didn't. None of it made any sense.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head though. His character story is over because someone drowned him in a puddle.
Yeah.
Not like a fucking pothole.
And
Not a big vat of water, nothing. He got killed by a pothole because he couldn't lift his head up?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
because his weakness is water, which I get.
okay.
But there's a better fucking way than drowning him in a puddle.
It looked like he wasn't even putting up a fight. And
Like-
then she's trying to like
Even
give him this big story
I know
while
what this
he's
moment needs. We need more exposition in this moment. That's what they thought. And even from a technical standpoint, the camera would go underwater, but you could still hear what she was saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Because
know.
he's so meticulous in some of his movies. Like, he's so careful. And in this one, he just was like, I don't care. Do what you're going to do. Like, even when they like sprayed Bruce or David, it was like, I get that you don't have the budget to build a whole specialized system of sprinklers.
Yeah.
But don't do a wide panning out shot of a water tub. Like, make the sound and then have the water coming down the window of the room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then just have a shot of a react of him covered in water, show a drain in the center,
That's
and
it.
some going in there.
Yeah.
That's all you needed.
But it was so
I didn't
weird.
even need to see the fucking tank. That's
He
the
should have,
Yeah,
he should have fucking died in that. And when he got thrown into the like water tank, like that,
Yeah.
that's where he instead of a fucking puddle. The only death out of all those, or the three main ones that I actually liked was the Horrid's death, because I liked that he was like made vulnerable, and like there's this last moment where you're actually connecting with him because he's come out as Kevin.
Right.
I felt I was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
actually it is successfully tugging on my heartstrings a little bit.
It is, but they should have done something where it didn't look like she betrayed him, because that's kind of how it came across. Is
She moved aside,
Yeah,
or
there's
Yeah.
the red dot, and all of a sudden she's like, "Well, I don't want nothing to do with this red dot," and then he gets shot. Do something where someone knocks her out of the way, and
Yeah.
then they take him out.
Plus, there's like 15 of those guys. You're telling me that they had one angle? Like, there's just so much of it that didn't make sense.
Oh, I know.
He's fighting the Horde in the tub of water, but then he can't get off of like a wet patch of ground.
We also haven't talked, like, so there's all that, and I know, like, that's the thing is, a lot of people are like, oh, you're reading too much into plot holes, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, but the thing is, when you make a movie, like, this is a prime example. M. Night spent so much fucking time grounding Unbreakable and Split that we are allowed to take it seriously now. Like, he has given us every single reason to take it seriously. So when there's going to be gaping fucking plot holes like this, like how they even have one security guard working at night with three of the, like, like, what the fuck is
This guy
happening?
has 17 personalities, one of which can destroy anybody that comes in its path. We should just have that one high security guard that's eating like sandwiches, watching.
I know.
Oh, and then the other security guard at the bald guy who they were talking about vitamins with.
Yeah.
Where did he go? There was 2 people there, and we had to have that long scene. I get that after he was saying, "Oh, this guy likes to talk a lot." Don't keep showing me. Do the one thing. How's your wife? How's your kids? Blah blah blah.
Yes.
Then cut to that.
I know.
They kept going back to, "You're gonna need vitamin
Everything's
D
so
for
convenient.
this."
It's so convenient because they're like, he's like, "Oh, I have 2 more minutes to describe my plot to you because because he's scared of cars with loud." Like, it's just like, what the fuck are we talking
I couldn't
about?
believe it. And even
Okay, it's bad.
The big reveal where like he did it because of the cameras, and you have like another 3 minutes of film watching guys install video cameras. It's like, we saw this the first time when it was completely obvious,
and they even made like over the top sounds of people screwing shit in and stuff,
and like the music, like eerie, like this guy's
They make
putting
it seem like it's going to be Anya Taylor-Joy. It's an origin story for her. Is what they make it seem like.
I thought at the end,
Yeah.
those 3 that survived, the mom,
she's going to shoot lasers out of her eyes.
I thought at the end, I don't know if I'm the only one who saw this or felt this way.
No,
is
I
that the mom, Anya Taylor-Joy, and the son were all of a sudden, because they were preaching the whole time about superpowers are real and you have to access them, is like they would realize that they had that in them
I for
as
sure
well.
thought that was going to happen because of the son, because of the genetic, or the mom, I guess. But like she'd been older and whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought, that's where they're going with it. They're going to
I
make
thought
him.
it was because of extenuating circumstances where they felt such heartbreak that it ignited something in them.
Right.
That's what I felt like, and they're all together and they've come together to be this unit.
So
and then,
fucking stupid.
And then all it is they shared a video on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
Which he could have, by the way, he could have escaped with Kevin and uploaded some fucking footage. Also, am I wrong? But at the end of Split, don't people see him run away, like from the zoo?
I don't remember.
I don't remember people seeing him run away, but I know that they know that it was him.
Right. Okay. Because I thought there was already footage of him as the Beast, sort of. But they could have just uploaded videos like the next day.
Yeah.
and the other thing, the one thing that I want to touch on is, in terms of Glass's master plan, I understood his, but I didn't understand James McAvoy's as well, because all he's really shown us is that he's quite a bit stronger than a regular person.
He's crazy.
And that he breaks everybody by bear hugging them, which if he's going to become this master race, he gets killed by one bullet. If he's going to be this master race, where is he going to hug everyone to death throughout the world? It set up this weird thing where he was going to go to that tower and show everybody. So what was he going to go stand in front of the grand opening, grab the mayor, break his back?
No, he was going to break. He wanted to break David Dunn in front of everyone because he was the guy who was unbreakable.
Exactly, but then
Oh, God, it's
both
corny.
of them could just get shot and killed, and it would have solved. It would have just been like crazy naked man kills old man.
Or someone with a fucking super soaker.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
if
I know.
That's how easily he can be defeated.
And that's the thing is
That's
he's
where it
unbreakable, but he can be drowned in a puddle.
It grounded it so hard that you realize that none of them were super to begin with.
My theory is the one thing you can say about Shyamalan is that you can see himself in his movies. Like, they're not corporate. So for better or worse, I think the whole thing about like someone trying to convince them that they're not real, that they're not super, I think he's having a conversation with himself. I think he's saying the critics are going like, you can't make movies, you were never good at this, you had these hits but now you don't matter. I think it's him working through that shit.
That's what he did with The Visit.
Exactly. Yeah. And same with like Lady in the Water, where it's like he's obsessed with himself and storytelling.
Yeah.
And it always comes out in those ways. So I think this movie was his sort of answer to himself, like, am I actually a good filmmaker? Sort of. But also, this is not an origin story. It's like, it just was. It was so. Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess.
No, it really was a mess, and I'm like, this one's tough for me because I'm like, I love those first 2 movies so much, and I'm very, very disappointed by this one. But I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I just it's just such a bummer.
And also, now that you've seen it and your expectations have sort of been dealt with or whatever, not even that you had high ones or specific ones, but I'm interested to see it again now that that's dealt with and go like, what is this? Not so much from a film perspective, but a filmmaker perspective. Go like, what's he actually doing here? Why is he so hit and miss? Why does he treat some scenes so carefully and other ones so carelessly that it's sort of like, what's really happening?
And that's
kind of like, what's the focus
of
the whole thing?
That's the thing that makes this one hurt so bad, is that there's moments that I love so much.
Yeah.
Like everything with McAvoy, he's so fucking
That's
good
what
in
I
this.
want. It's like, did he find his muse in McAvoy, and then it should have just been that?
It should have been. Like,
It's sort of like Scorsese with
So we just
DiCaprio,
want a
right?
split 2. is what we're coming at.
Not only, like I don't want a Split 2. I just want Split.
No, before Glass came out. That's what we were talking about. Basically, is we want Split 2. We didn't want Glass.
Imagine this.
I think that's like we got that, but he tried so hard to wedge in Unbreakable as well.
Imagine though, like it's sort of a Scream move, but imagine if they got Dunn and Elijah together, and then like in the first 15 minutes, and then McAvoy just fucking destroys them.
Yeah,
right.
No, yeah,
he's sort of the next evolution.
Also, McAvoy should have fucking destroyed Glass, like where he punched him in the chest or whatever.
Yeah,
which I get. He's made of glass.
Crushed his shoulder.
Yeah,
He like rearranged the fucking guy.
But he should have fucking like crunched him up into a ball. I actually would have liked to see him just like annihilate Mr. Glass because it's like
he could probably like do this to his skull.
Yeah,
and he would be dead, right? Like
or do some of his weird glitchy shit that he was doing at the end of Split. He's like jumping from side to side. It's like
I missed that.
The Beast should have fucking went rampage on his ass.
Exactly, and you think about it, is that one security guard was threatening him with a flashlight?
Yeah.
And that would have destroyed him, but apparently James McAvoy in Beast mode, landing several hits, can't do the job.
Right.
He fucking winded him in his xiphoid.
It belittles the Beast, which is the character that we all enjoy.
Also, let's talk about that real quick.
Belittles everyone.
In the final showdown between Dunn and McAvoy, let's call him Kevin, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Let's have more grappling. Like,
I know.
They grappled against a van.
Yeah, I know.
It's like that's the showdown, and I don't need a Marvel showdown.
No.
I don't need like CGI and fucking.
That's the thing that's bothering me too, though, is that a lot of people are like they didn't like turn it into a Marvel movie, but I'm like they kind of did though. Like it's to me, it's like it was way less grounded than what the other ones were.
As soulless as a lot of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So not in the same like over budgeted.
No, it's not like there's lasers shooting everywhere. And they're like skit that thing. Like that's why when I heard the plot point where I was like they're gonna fight on the tall building, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Because I was like, I saw like I'm not gonna lie, I saw the reviews of this movie and it was pretty lackluster and everything, and I was like, oh, that's a bummer. But I'm like, you know what? There's been so many. I loved The Predator. You're saying, and it's like we have this big poster in the room, and I'm like, you know, that movie got 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm like, there's a good chance I'm still gonna love.
When we were driving there, my buddy goes, it's at 30 whatever percent, and I was like, I just hope that's because it's not everybody's kind of movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But not because it's a shitty movie. But it.
So what would we, since I think we're pretty unanimous on not liking the ending, what would have been a good alternative for you guys?
Well, like I was saying, I wish that Kevin would have dealt with him early on in the movie and wrapped up that story, which I know people would have probably been pissed off about, but it would sort of been there's nothing original anymore in my mind.
Yeah.
And so I would have liked that, and then I don't know how you would have ended it with Kevin, but I think it could have been a franchise.
I think they should have done something where, I know that you guys probably didn't like the idea of that whole like going to the tower thing. I would have liked there to have been that showdown because it's felt so anticlimactic to even Glass's idea of the story and hit what he wanted to do for it to end in the parking lot. I think there should have been a thing where I'm still fine with all of those characters dying, but give Bruce Willis a better way to die.
I'm fine on them dying too.
But like have it where it was a that heroic gesture, and then you could have had that where it got captured on TV, and maybe they outed that secret society and have a bunch of them get dispatched, as well as the main lady. I forget her name.
Sarah Paulson.
Have Sarah Paulson get killed after she's revealed her whole thing. Have everybody die at the end, and have your three people that survived at the end, the mom, the Anya Taylor-Joy, blah blah blah, have those people witness it and carry on and kind of memorialize them, I guess. And then you could end on that whole thing, like, superheroes might be not real, but superhumans are, or something like that.
Well, that's the thing, is they set up another sequel that's not going to happen, though. Right. Because it's like, this is a trilogy. He's said that. And it's like, okay, so it's more fucking blue balls. So now we know that it's like they've been covering it. There's this society that's been covering up that there's been actual superheroes for all these years. And this is how we're ending it.
They're all dying.
And now everyone's aware of superheroes. That's where, if you're doing a Marvel universe, not that I have a ton of knowledge of it, but that's where you end a movie where the next one is or even in the end scene of this, is everyone, these people around the world watching it, maybe even in different, you could have people like someone from Japan or
Germany.
They
did this in The Last Stand.
Yeah, where like different like languages realize like, oh, I'm not a weirdo. I actually have powers, and yada yada. I have to fight the secret society. I know that's the typical...
Actually, that's X2. That's the best X-Men movie. X-Men 2, they do that. Pyro and all these people
Right.
see that on the TV.
Right.
I'm not
And they're
trying to
like,
blame
hey,
that because
no.
I've never seen it and I have
Yeah.
no concept of it. But that seemed like it would have
X-Men
been
2 is great, but it's made by a child rapist. so-
Yeah.
But that's the kind of ending it felt like it should have been, where there was some hope you get at the end. I don't find there was any hope in this movie. The secret society didn't get any really comeuppance at all.
No, it's just like, oh, now people know about it. Tight.
Poopy.
Right, 'cause
Let's
video-
all go get our tattoos removed.
Yeah, because
Yes.
video can't be edited. Like, people are just going to believe this.
Yeah,
because it's on
exactly.
YouTube. I can find UFO
Oh
shit.
my god, that drove me nuts.
Yeah.
When everyone's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, you
it's
can't
like,
find that shit right
imagine
now on
people
YouTube.
watching the kid yodeling. It's like, oh, it's fucking, it's so stupid.
You just opened up a whole thing where it all of a sudden would become like shitpost videos because of this, where they're gonna add fart sounds
Yeah,
and
like
everything.
It's like,
Mixes,
but
like-
is the dress blue or gold?
yeah.
Yanni
That's-
or Laurel?
Yeah.
And then, I think my favorite part was picturing that being Logan Paul at the beginning when he
Yep.
beats the shit out of him. I was like,
Yep.
yes, that's like the
I
Paul
know.
brothers.
And randomly throwing in that whole storyline, not to jump way back to that, but they're just randomly like, Superman punch, knock out this guy. We're gonna upload this on YouTube, and
That's
this
so
guy's
M.
gonna
Night,
beat the
though.
shit out of us.
Yeah, it is. It
It's
totally
so
is.
M. Night. Like, there's so much garbage M. Night stuff in here, and then there's so much amazing M. Night. And I will say, okay, so I saved the best for last. My favorite moment of the whole movie. And I was actually like, Courtney and I were like, we were worried how hard we were laughing because it's like, it's getting uncomfortable because no one else in the theater's laughing.
I laughed quite a bit, and someone laughed
but-
because I was laughing
But
so loud.
this was a part that was supposed to be funny though, and I just thought it nailed it. But it's where Anya Taylor-Joy is having like the emotional connection with Kevin, and then he switches over to Hedwig, and
Oh
he's
my
holding her
God.
hand, he's like, "Do you like Kevin now?"
Oh my god, I laughed so hard.
Oh my god, like that was gold.
Yeah.
it was like, oh my god, that was fucking amazing.
I would see a whole Hedwig movie.
Oh, I know.
Like,
yeah,
he's so good at that.
Or his one random character we've only ever got to see one time was the really southern drawl character.
Yeah.
When
oh,
he,
right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Like I can't remember what he said like verbatim, but like that made me laugh so much.
So besides the Horde, or like the Beast, or whatever you want to say, which of those would terrify you the most if you were being held in his basement?
Oh,
Patricia is one that would for sure fuck me
I
up.
think so too.
Yeah, Patricia, because I got
what's
a real
the other stronger male character? There's one other one.
Oh, when he's
Dennis.
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 Yes, of course,
was
it's
the-
fucking Dennis.
Yeah.
Sorry to any Dennises out there.
No,
but
fuck Dennis's. I don't know a single good Dennis.
Dennis was the one where he reminds me of like a mob boss almost.
Yes,
he's
yeah.
very cool and collected, but
He's the dickhead stepdad.
yeah.
That's who Dennis is.
Yeah.
But that
I
okay.
think
So
Patricia is the kind of the creepiest, at least.
well, it's just I have a thing with women in power. That's why I'm so sexually attracted to Arlene from Dragon's Den.
You know,
You want her to step on your balls with high heel shoes.
Yes.
I have had little things like she's got a lot of money, Mike. Like,
Oh,
and
she'd take care of you.
Yeah, she'd take care of me, and she's
beautiful.
single. Yeah,
I think she's beautiful.
I have a, like. Yeah, I shouldn't go into this too much, but I have a real thing. Like, if a woman's a bitch to me, I was like, "Oh, who's she?"
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, no, that's why it's weird that like that's why I'm like constantly sabotaging my relationship with Courtney because she's like the first woman in my life ever who's ever been like really nice to me. I'm like, what's
Right.
wrong with you? Like,
Yeah, but she's also got like an edge. Like, she's not a
Yeah,
little
no.
meek. Like, that's what I think is
she
awesome
stands
about
her
you
ground.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she stands
So
her
you
ground.
guys are just really into that talk to the manager
Oh,
type.
we
women.
are no.
Uh,
yeah, I'm abuse through the roof.
There's a little. Some for one,
I
I
spent
just like
7
when they
years
go-
being treated like shit. It's like-
Yeah, you're like locked in.
Yeah.
That's why he understands the relationship between what's her name and Kevin.
yeah, exactly.
No, but if a girl like knows what she wants, because my worst fear ever is like, where do you want to eat? I don't care. What about this? No. This no. Like, I like when someone's like, oh, Mike, I'm really craving like this from Boss Pizza.
Just fucking tell me and we'll go there.
Yeah, because I'm pretty bad. Anyway, let's not get into that. So what the hell did I get there?
Oh no, I know what you
It's
mean.
getting
No,
hot in here.
no, I don't know. But you know what's crazy about all this? I'm eager to watch this movie again now, just from talking about the Horde. Like, I
Yeah.
liked McAvoy so much,
and
like,
I instantly wanted to go back and watch Split again.
yeah,
That was the effect it had on me.
And that's, at first I was like, this movie did the worst thing that a movie can do, that a sequel can do, and that's depreciate the value of the original or the one before it.
Right.
And then now just talking about it more, I feel better. Like, this has been like a therapy session for me as someone who loves Split and Unbreakable, because I'm like, no, those are still great movies.
And that's what I mean. If you rip away the Unbreakable expectations, it sort of stands on its own as
Yeah.
a Split.
It's
Sort of.
It's funny because Glass is horrible, but it's not that horrible.
No.
if that makes sense.
No, I agree. Like, I wasn't like, angry that I'd spent the money. It wasn't
No.
that sort of deal, but I
I'm
was
just-
just
I'm
really
bummed.
disappointed.
I would watch it again, honestly.
Yeah, I think
I would definitely.
I think
watch
I
it
was
again.
preparing myself for it too, though.
And that's what I think about M. Night is good or bad. He's never really made something that I just feel nothing about.
After Earth.
I haven't seen that one. I guess. So
Right.
that's,
I know.
what's happening.
Second
But-
of-
No, that's true. And actually, quickly before we cap things off here, you mentioned your like love for Signs. I shared on our M. Night Shyamalan retrospective that like Signs is my like that's the gold standard for me for my theater experiences. That was
Oh,
the
really?
best theatrical experience I've ever had
Oh,
in my
nice.
life. I
Okay.
love that movie. I love it.
Well,
So sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
just real quick. You talked about McAvoy.
Signs.
And M. Night. I think it was the same thing with Joaquin.
Yeah.
Where like his reactions.
Yeah, he's
Remember
so
when he's
good.
in the closet.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that,
I know.
it's his eyes that
Yeah.
make that anyway.
No, him and even Mel
And
Gibson
Mel's
was
great in
fucking
that too.
awesome.
So I
in
think
it,
when
yeah.
he finds the right.
And Rory Culkin.
Oh right,
There's
I
Rory
forgot that.
Culkin, yeah.
I can't keep those Culkin straight. I've heard he has a good podcast.
Rory Culkin.
Macaulay.
Oh, I would listen to that for sure.
yeah.
He's straightened his shit out. He's
Yeah.
he does a lot of stuff on Red Letter Media, and he's
Oh, he
great.
does. I
He's
didn't know
always
that. Oh.
he's tweet battling with Devon Sawa, which is
Is
the
he? Oh,
funniest.
that's
thing.
hilarious.
Yeah, two guys from the '90s.
Yeah.
But it just blows my mind that Macaulay Culkin was dating what's her name, Mila Kunis
Yeah.
during like Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I forgot about that.
That blows my mind.
When he was
Yeah.
at his worst, she was like rocking it, and
She was at her best, like,
Yeah.
but she's
Yeah.
never gotten off her best. She's continuously stayed there.
So I have
Yeah.
one question to pose then before we leave: is Signs and Glass connected because of the water thing? Because the aliens.
I never even thought of that.
I never thought of that, but I sure fucking hope not. Same
because
with
the
Lady in the
aliens-
Water.
That was their weakness. Was it water?
maybe,
Right?
maybe this is M. Night Shyamalan's Castle Rock.
Maybe he's just really afraid of fucking water.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
he's like, because I mean, obviously, Lady in the Water, it wasn't the same thing, but there's a huge focus about like the swimming pool. I wonder if there's like something there because, and also,
The Scrunts. Holy fuck.
I know,
The
yeah,
Tartudic.
this is a total distraction, but A Quiet Place totally stole from Signs, right?
A little bit, but
Just in terms of the daughter with something that she whatever. Anyway.
I feel that that's a good place for me to cap off my feelings of Glass is that I feel like I didn't show A Quiet Place enough love last year. I really liked A Quiet
Yeah,
Place.
me too.
But I spent a lot of the year shitting on it for some reason.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't get it.
I was
'Cause
torn about
It's
it.
because it came first.
No, it's that.
It was-
It's actually it's because of what I was just talking about. Like I actually get shit on this from a lot of people who listen. They're like, Mitch's like nitpicks with A Quiet Place are so ridiculous, and it's like, but it's like
We had
it's
the exact
so
same
real.
ones though. Why does nobody come at me about this?
I know, and it's because I think I'm more of a dick about it.
I guess so.
I for sure am, but like it's like Unbreakable and Split though. I'm like, when you set up a world that's this realistic,
Yeah.
I'm going to be nitpicky. And like, you know, the whole Split thing, like people are like, well, it wasn't realistic when he's jumping on the walls and everything. I'm like, yeah, but I bought into it at that point.
because at that point he's built a world enough, and it wasn't like he was flying.
No, exactly.
It was realistic enough.
Yeah.
And that's when it's a testament to them that they've made a world realistic enough and emotionally engaging enough that you care. They need to stick to it.
Yeah.
I wondered if
landing.
I was trying to decide if I liked it more or less because it was directed by Jim Halpert.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I was
I
sort
know.
of like, am I giving it more room because I want this guy to succeed?
I was in the same boat too, but honestly, I think it's that movie is just so fucking good. But there's
Yeah.
a few huge flaws.
I think it did take off a lot of points, but when I think back, most of it was good, especially for a first-time director.
Oh my god, yeah, especially from someone who doesn't have any interest in horror movies.
Yeah, yeah.
To make one of the best horror movies of the year and to have zero interest in horror movies is crazy.
A lot of Shyamalan in that.
Oh, yeah.
movie, like just the visuals even.
Do
Sorry.
you mind if I redirect here?
Yes.
Because it feels like we're kind of ending
Sorry.
it. So do you guys have any, because I definitely do myself, do you guys have any final thoughts about this now that it's all said and done? We've talked quite a bit about it. Any final thoughts overall?
I'm happy it's over and I can breathe.
Yeah, nothing really other than that. Like, I'm sort of sad if this doesn't make any money, and I'm torn. I feel like I'm happy he'd be done because I'm so sick of my heart being like ripped around.
Oh no, he's doing well. This
Okay.
movie fucking killed it this weekend.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Because he's also one of the few guys left that's doing his own thing, and I think even if I don't always like it, there needs to be more of that.
Totally.
That's
and
my,
he still has the power to do it.
yeah,
Like he's in a weird spot where they'll still give him the money to do it.
because he's got enough of a following.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have overall that I wanted to say about this is it's a shame that this is how we end with James McAvoy's character.
Yeah.
that
I think
we won't
all of
get
them.
more for this.
Yes, definitely.
The only way I could see there being something is if they do like a prequel thing, because they kind of mentioned about other girls that he had abducted between
Please,
Split
no.
and. But that's the problem is there'd be no climax for that because you already know. Things going forward that he's going to die and yada yada. So there's no impact to
All
it.
it could be is if the girls escape.
In the words of Ralph, stop, he's already dead.
Who the fuck's Ralph?
Was that Ralph?
No,
What are you talking about?
that's just a random kid.
No, I thought it was Ralph Wiggum who said
No,
that. Oh,
it's
been
just
a
a
while
random
since. Oh,
kid.
sorry.
Oh, I thought it was too.
Yeah,
No,
because
it's a random kid.
What's
Boozy's
happening?
a Simpsons.
Sorry?
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep distracting.
But
I keep
either
going
way,
off
it's
point.
just like, I don't know. I'm like, it's so weird because it was a catastrophe, but it also kind of wasn't.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not so mad about it, but I'm also just like, fuck that sucks.
And that's why I say we need more of it, because even though it wasn't great, I still liked it more than most bullshit that's like Bumblebee
Yeah.
and whatever that's getting released.
I still haven't seen Bumblebee. But
Another day. But yeah.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
we'll have you back on again soon, Mike. Thank
Awesome.
you so much for coming
Oh,
on
thanks,
at such
guys.
short notice.
Thanks.
Anything you want to plug?
No, not really. Other than I actually want to give you guys props, because I know a lot of people in the city that have started podcasts and had big ideas, and out of all of them, you guys have been the most consistent in terms of like just week to week and sort of like the number. What are you guys on? 100 and
100, this would be 102 today.
right? I thought like that's nuts.
Plus,
you guys.
we
So,
don't
like,
even count the bonus episodes.
Oh, that's like just the straight up. Like,
So we're at like
We're
106.
near 100, around there.
so I just want to give you guys props, because that's like pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
And I'm excited to see where it goes. And yeah, it's so good.
I have one last question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Is there a song you would like me to play you out to? I try and get our guests to have a play out song.
Yeah, I think my favorite song of all time would probably be. Have you heard of Thunder by Imagine Dragons?
Yes. I'm gonna see if I can find a shitty flute version of that.
Yes. It's funny because we were trying to figure out what was going to be your intro song today, and we settled on it was going to be "The Boys Are Back in Town."
Oh, nice.
But
And then I
I-
shifted it,
Yeah,
Right.
and it was gonna
You said
be
Christina Aguilera.
It was
then-
either gonna be the intro to Dirty, or what the fuck was the other?
Black
Or
Eyed
Let's
Peas,
Get It
Let's Get-
Started.
Yeah. And then when you said "Let's Get Started," I was like, "Wait a minute, London Bridge by Fergie."
Oh my god.
But I was like, Courtney, what should we have for Mike? And she's like, well, Mike loves Toy Story, so you should do "You've Got a Friend in Me."
Oh, that's
It's
a
like
nice- that's a good one.
That's such a
But we
so
like being
that's a good-
funny.
That's still a great song. It'll get stuck in people's
That's
head
fair.
for the
That's
rest
fair.
of the day.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll
That's
get
true.
stuck in their head forever.
You should, yeah.
wanna do
Or
that
find
one?
a weird ass. What's his name? Who sings it?
Yeah,
You know, I can't.
I
think
know
of
what
it.
you're
I'm
talking
blanking.
about. Yeah.
But he does a lot of weird ass.
Gary
songs.
Newman, isn't
Power-
it? No. We should probably end the episode.
Yes, I get we're yeah. That we'll end it there.
Oh, like literally anything by the Toy Story guy?
Yeah, because there's a lot of weird shit that he does.
Oh yeah, we used to play "You Got a Friend in Me" at when I used to work at a warehouse. We played it on repeat to drive the front office crazy. So it was like that opening piano.
God.
It was like a Twilight Zone episode for people.
Yeah.
It was like over and over again. "You Got a Friend in Me." We did that, and same with Kesha. I see your heart beat to the beat of the drum. Ain't it a shame that you came here with someone?
Hey, one last quick story. When I was at college, my roommate, we'd known each other since we were like 10. And I got to start.
Die Young. Sorry, that was the Kesha song. Continue.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I hate Kesha. So I should have answered that before we were talking about who we hate. So I got a stereo. This is back in the day of CDs was a big thing, with a remote. And my roommate, we were like brothers. We still are. And so there was one song, Harry Connick Jr. of all people. It starts off like, "Come by me." And then it goes into like a jazz, whatever. But I just played that first line because I could just lay in my bed and like hit back. Not even the song, like the first 5 seconds. Yeah. And at first he was like, "Ha, that's hilarious." And then I was like, this is before Family Guy, before like people took the humor like so far that it starts being funny again, or Jackass or whatever. And I was like, I just kept doing it. And he's like, okay, but like stop. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So I let it go like 15 seconds and then go back to the start. And he smashed it. He smashed he just went out and like Hulk smashed the top of the CD player. And I was like, oh. But I thought it was so funny to torture him like that.
It's like the John Mulaney, "What's new, pussycat?"
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. And he didn't have any brothers, so he wasn't used to that where you just torture somebody you like because it's fun. Like it's like a thing you do. But
Sorry. Okay,
On
this
that
is
note,
off the rails.
This is it.
We'll have
We're
you
done.
back soon.
awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. Good evening. Thanks for sticking around. See you.